that like outtake in the beginning.
Sure,
I love it.
I know. I use it almost all the time now.
That's excellent. The little Chekaruski. All right, here we go, folks. This is episode 34 of the Grim 86 Freedom First podcast. My name's Crash. Did you not?
What movie is that from?
What? The eyebrows? Or what I just said?
Just nothing spoken.
Oh.
It's any of the silent films.
It's a Charlie Chaplin movie?
No, that wasn't really my quote.
I was like, did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, my actual quote, though. Captain Deadpool? Nah, just Deadpool. I'm Johnny Doe.
I'm Aaron.
Aaron.
Hey,
Mr.
Aaron.
Danger in the house.
Danger.
You
Danger.
fucked up now, Aaron.
Right? I used to be so tired of that, and now it's like I don't hear anybody say it, so I kind of got to bring it back.
I always loved that one.
That
That's
one-
a great skit.
That one had, it had its heyday. It did. Everybody was saying that for a long
Dude, for
time.
a good, few years.
There's shirts that say it and shit. I was like, wow, that one thing got so much traction. There are so many other better skits those guys did,
Oh, dude.
but that one just got so much traction.
Dude,
Yeah.
did you,
It's the most memorable now because everyone
yeah,
promoted it.
says it. Fucking
Yeah.
says it. I want to say one of the funniest ones was the whole, bitch.
Yeah, that one.
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen that show.
I mean, dude, it was their first episode, no?
I
don't know.
Probably. It's
Oh,
one of their.
shit.
So it's basically the premise is that every time they're with their girlfriends or whatever, but every time they're like, so I told her, I said, bitch, but they're always too close or whatever to the women, as they don't want to get in trouble. So
Yeah.
I said,
Bitch.
I looked her dead in the windows
Yeah.
of her soul and said,
Shout out to Chase McAlpine. That was the first time I ever saw the show. We were on a little road trip together. So
first time we ever saw Key and Peele?
yeah,
That's
a
fucking
marathon of them.
Dude, they're so easy.
In a
to marathon.
hotel room with
in a
Chase.
hotel with Chase.
Shout out to Chase. That's pretty cool.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chase.
Deadpool quote. I like that.
Yeah, there you go.
I like how
Well, I mean, we are the Deadpool of podcasts, so I felt like it was only a good thing. This is the first one that I've actually a movie I've quoted twice. Although I could just say that was actually from the first movie, and the other quote was from
Sure.
the second. Whatever.
it's fine. I really like the fact that we can kind of call ourselves that because everything that I've been posting on Instagram, half that stuff I wouldn't be able to post on my personal Instagram.
Right.
Or I wouldn't.
Well,
you know what I mean?
you wouldn't do.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I can't, but I mean, I wouldn't.
You could, but you just wouldn't. Yeah. I
So
get it.
I really like being able
I
to
do.
sort of hide
Yeah,
behind.
you have your alter ego kind of thing.
I get to
Yeah.
kind of hide behind it, and I'm like, yeah, well, my family's not on this one, so here you go.
and then there's my page, where my personal page is worse than the actual podcast page. I put whatever I want.
Yeah, pretty much me too.
Yeah.
I'm
Pretty much me too.
drinking an actual 40 tonight.
Ooh, shout out to the 40 ounce.
To the 40s.
Felt like a DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you got
you got a bonus, so you.
Yeah, I got a bonus.
So what were you gonna say?
I collected $13 from our merchandise today, so yeah, I went ahead and invested.
14.
I told you it was going to go back into big ass beers for me. I fucking told you.
Yeah, there you go. You're welcome.
Fucking high rolling, bro.
So
high rolling the high life.
you kind of inspired me, Aaron, when you had the 40s last week. So I'm like, I got to
There you
get a
go.
40, but I went true degen about it. Mine's actual malt liquor.
You went full on streets, bro.
Yeah.
And mine
Yeah.
wasn't. Mine was Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah, that's
so.
pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
I went straight hood rat on this one.
I would have done
Malt
the
liquor.
Pabst myself. I like Pabst. Before all the trendy people got into it.
Right, dude. I used to drink
'cause I'm old.
Pabst for years. I used to drink Pabst for years, bro.
Same.
Then all of a sudden, all these hipsters wanted to drink it. And it's like,
Yeah, that's what
dude,
happened.
Fuck off. And before that, it was Sierra Nevada. All the time, Sierra Nevada. But have you guys ever played Edward 40 Hounds?
Yes.
I haven't personally, but I've been with people and
Ooh.
taped their hands up.
I gotta say that is one of the funnest little.
That's a fucking hilarious game.
Shout out to Gina West. What up? I played with. I helped her play that game.
There you go.
So.
Dude, okay, what about wizard staffs? You guys ever do that one?
Yeah, I've done that. I won.
Did you really?
My shit was bigger than a garage door all the way up, and I was still able to get it out because I duct taped the shit out of it, bro. You ever played that before?
I've never played
So
that.
it's where you have a can, and then when you're done, you duct tape it on there, and then you have your next can.
No,
drink
I've
it,
seen.
keep going.
No, I've
My
seen.
staff was bigger than a regular garage. It was above
Yeah.
the garage door.
So you're eventually just
Fucking
drinking
A.
this fucking thing that's as long as the
It looked
entire
like a
room?
giant didgeridoo. That's what it looked like. Because for a while you're like, now you shall not pass, right? You're doing that whole
Yeah.
joke, but then after a while it becomes ridiculous.
I
and
love
it's
rip
like,
and didge.
Yeah,
You just
it's like the height of a parking garage.
I remember the night after we did that, like we just started to like wedge them in between the ceiling and the floor, and we had 3 of them right next to each other for like
Sweet.
3 people had done
Yeah, I
it.
played it with 3 people too, so it's funny because we
Fucking
had these
ridiculous.
huge, ridiculous things. And then it's
That
like,
game is awesome.
and I was so drunk, so I don't even remember who the hell cleaned up that mess because you gotta, untape them all.
oh yeah,
to
it's a
dump 'em.
shit show.
Yeah, it's a good little drinking.
That's a
game.
fucking fun one though.
Any other
Like,
drinking games you guys ever, other than beer pong?
OG.
What's that?
Oh shit! It's a. From what I understand, it originated in Elmwood. In the streets of Elmwood, and it's like 13 with a little speed mixed in there. It's and the whole point is to get your your opponents to drink as much as you can. You could blow it up, you could straights, match pairs, and all that other shit. But you got to get your as fast as you can. You got to get out as fast as you can.
So it's all based around time.
Yeah.
That
it
sounds
can take-
dangerous already.
Yeah, it's a dude. My shout out to Conrad, shout out to Sean. Where we dude a 30-pack each, a 30-pack each, and we had room for a bottle of scotch after, and that was on 4th of July Eve, about 8 years ago.
Wow.
I remember it fondly.
Remember, like who's
Oh,
yesterday?
yes, I
8
do.
years ago.
Oh yeah, it was. It was good times.
You
Good
you have
times.
any drinking?
Yeah, dude, so many.
You
like
like?
so, the one called Four Banger, which is you play that with cups, like beer pong, except for the objective. I don't quite remember the rules. 'Cause I remember there's 4 beer cans on the the sides of the table, and you have to knock them over with the ball. But the ball then ricochets off the beer can, and your opponent has to fucking find it. If it's in a beer,
command bunker.
yeah,
Get it right, Jamie. The bunker.
yeah. If you're in a room that has other stuff in it and that ball gets knocked behind shit, well,
Yeah.
the other guy has all that time to try and drink his entire beer before. Yeah, so like you get fucked if it just goes and it goes behind something. You're like, okay, that guy just gets all the time to drink his beer. But then basically once you get it back and I think you put it like in your own cup or something, and then they can stop. And when they're done with their beer, they have to turn it upside down. And if one drop even comes out, then like they lose or something.
Holy
It was
shit!
weird. I forget all the rules. I only played it a handful of times. They kind of had to like walk me through it as I played it. But
My
I remember
fa-
being fucking hilarious.
Any other ones, or just that's the main one?
I got plenty more.
Oh yeah, the flip cups and all that.
The Flip Cup is a good one.
Ooh,
There's
Flip Cup's
King's
great.
Cup. The
King's
King's Cup
Cup?
where it just makes that horrible fucking suicide that you have to drink. It's a fucking bar mat basically at the end of the night.
Oh god.
Waterfall, which is basically like that except without the cup.
My
Shit.
favorite drinking game is drinking.
Drink the beer.
Yeah, just drink the fucking beer.
Hey,
Pour me a shot.
Hey,
have a
Peter,
beer.
your clock won't flush.
So I'll just go with that game. That game's pretty easy. Played a few of them, but yeah, I'm usually more of a.
I got the high score.
I'm just gonna drink.
What do I win? Another beer.
Right, there you go. Winner. All right. So what do you call it? We have our shirts. Here you go. There's one, so you guys can check them out. Jimmy's got one over there.
We did want to talk about this first, but
Yeah.
we got into that whole conversation.
Yeah, we got a little sidetrack. So here's one of the female, what do you call it, tank tops. You got a female T-shirt, and you got a male T-shirt over there. So, yeah, so we
good.
wanted to show off a couple of those for now. We're going to be doing our first ever photo shoot. We got a model. Shout out to Kristen. And we're going to be doing that this weekend. So pictures and video and all that will come. And it's all to promote the podcast and the shirts.
So I gotta say, I wore my shirt this weekend again.
Uh-oh, got laid?
Got laid.
So much laid.
But dude, I was up in the North Bay, going up toward northern, and literally, I noticed a lot of people looking at it like, ooh, what's that?
Yeah.
What's he wearing? And I just kind of like puffed up my chest a little bit, like the shirt, like,
You just be like, you like that?
Grim 86.
Well, let me tell you about this podcast.
Freedom first.
It's cool when it's your own brand.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
I feel like it's
Me
cool if it's
too.
not your own brand and you're wearing the shirt. I feel like that's how you're going to for sure get laid.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And if you go to Vegas and you wear that shirt, you're going to win. I mean,
Jackpots.
the odds
Every
are in
time.
your favor.
Bar,
if
bar,
you
bar.
lose, that's your fault, not our shirt's fault.
Straight
But if
up.
you win,
That's
it's our
science.
fault.
It's infused with
If
good
you
luck.
win, it's our fault. We're
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah.
We owe part of that. We own.
Yeah, so you're welcome.
We're gonna tax
Yeah.
some of that on
You,
you.
yeah, absolutely. You wear one of these shirts to the gun range, you're hitting bullseyes. So
Instant operator.
you get extra 50-pound lift with your bench. It adds 50 pounds to your bench. I mean,
These are
there's
all true
just
stories.
yeah.
You know, it just makes you a better fucking person
It
all
makes
around.
you a good human 101.
Your car gets better gas mileage. Like, you know,
Sure.
it's simple things
Yeah,
too.
it's like you don't even have to have a nitrous bottle on there. You just fucking wear that shirt and boom.
It's faster.
Yeah,
More
hitting
horsepower.
corners.
No effort whatsoever into anything.
Shaves off a whole minute in the quarter mile time.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Try not to laugh when I said it.
You finish in negative time. Actually, you show up and you just
Sure,
won.
you already
everything.
won the
Yeah,
whole
you already
fucking
won
thing. Yeah,
all day.
yeah. So you don't need to put stickers on your car, you VTech guys. You just wear one of those.
Well, just wear a shirt, man.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Or a hat. Get
Yeah.
yourself a hat.
So what we're trying to say is support the podcast, and you get a cool little shirt. Oh, it's what is it called? The site
Spreadshirt.
Spreadshirt. So it's where you supply your design, and then they're doing everything. It's all in their house.
So
Basically.
it's shop.spreadshirt.com /Grim86, and you can find us there. That's where our store is. We have all the merch up there. You guys can buy a pin. You can put that on your purse or your backpack or
yeah,
the headliner of your car if you
Yeah.
felt so bold.
yeah. They have pins. They have duffel bags.
Do they have coffee mugs?
Yes, they do.
Coffee mugs.
And they
yep.
have we have let me think here. We have at least 3 or 4 different ones. So yeah, you got white cups and black cups, and they have different designs. Some have the Grim Reaper, and some have the shirt Jamie was holding up, the font.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much most of the stuff has the font like the shirt Jamie was holding up or the Reaper. So that's pretty much what most of it is.
Those are our two designs
Early
that we have
Christmas
right now.
shopping, guys.
Yeah.
Get it done
Yeah,
right
sure.
now.
All right. So what else? And yeah, go and like and subscribe us on all the social media platforms we're on: the YouTube, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, and YouTube.
Have you heard, bro?
Like,
And,
well, how do they-
he's colorblind, so
That's true.
It happens.
I'm wearing a
I don't know, man. That's weird.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
wearing a gray shirt right now, as far as I know.
Well, they're seeing it. So.
I know. That's kind of funny that they're actually going to see it as gray. It's red, in case you were,
yeah.
in case you missed the physical comedy on there. Well, okay. So what we're going to bring up next is, you know, we're always shitting on San Francisco. Well, now San Francisco is literally shitting on itself. Okay, we've known this was an issue for a fucking long time, but now there's a fucking map. We're gonna show you guys a shit map.
Yep, and shout out to Chris. He was the first one that brought it up on the show.
Yep. There. See, look. Okay,
A new
just-
map shows just how dirty the streets of San Francisco are becoming. The map shows all the locations
Let's
where
see.
human waste have been reported on San Francisco streets over the last 8 years. So take a
Okay.
look and you'll see it's
Look at that.
pretty
Look at that.
disgusting to look at.
How dense.
So all the
Well,
dark colors
that
brown because
kind
you
of
guys have seen it in
makes
black
the
and white.
point, right? We've had more than 118,000 instances of human waste reported to the city. That
mean, that's in
includes
8 years.
an all-time high of more than 28,000 cases just last year.
180,000, they said?
Yeah,
The open book, the
118,000
neighborhoods with the most cases
within
include
the last 8
Tenderloin,
years,
south of Market,
and
Mission
28,000
District,
last
Trailer
year.
Hill,
All right, so that's
and the financial
14,000.
district.
I've never,
750 a
winced
year.
looking at a
Averaging.
graphic.
Average,
Like,
yeah.
we're
But last year it was
that
28, so they said it's
Not
on the
appealing.
increase.
8:10 is
Double.
time right now.
Yeah.
And gun shows
Oh my
might be a
God.
thing of
Yeah.
the past at the cap.
That's a lot of shit, you guys.
Yeah, it's like
That's
a
lot of
giant
shit.
brownout map. You know what I mean?
Fuck, dude. And then they're trying, like, on a side note, they're trying to say something like the local legislations are trying to, I guess, pass some sort of bullshit about not being able to have gun shows at the Cow Palace anymore.
Right.
And
I
then all
seen
the-
that.
Yeah.
I seen that.
All the people that are pro, like, gun shows are like, well, maybe it's time we get it the fuck out of San Francisco anyway. There's, like, totally a fucking biohazard, like, warning in that place.
It's a shit show.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like-
at least you could say that map was the shit.
It was the
Yeah.
shits.
Yeah. It's definitely
like-
a code brown.
it's like Mr. Hanky with isn't that from South Park? It was like Mr. Smith in like The Matrix and just like just copied himself and it's just like a map that just fucking
Giant shits everywhere.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah,
dude.
and that's just the shits that got reported too. So there's probably a ton in the bushes and wherever.
How many shits go unreported
Right.
every
There's
year?
probably a ton of undocumented shits in San
Yeah,
Francisco.
a bunch of phantom shitters in the bushes.
At least 1 million of them.
Gorilla shitters, as they're called.
Yeah, well, that story stinks. Let's get to it.
God damn it.
All right.
So fucking our wonderful, apparently biblical leader,
Commander-in-Chief.
President Trump, I guess wants to take all of the illegal immigrants and then send them to sanctuary cities so that
Speaking
Democrats
of
have
shit,
to deal with it.
Trump.
Yeah. Here's some more of a shit show. Well, I'm
Right.
just gonna. Do you want me to play the video?
Yeah,
I haven't
sure.
played the
I
video.
didn't
Okay.
watch this video.
I didn't
actually.
watch it either.
Let's check it out.
From the U.S.-Mexico border to largely Democratic sanctuary cities like San Francisco and Portland. Congressman Betty
we miss
Thompson,
something
chair
there
of
in
the
the
House
beginning?
Homeland Security Committee, and two other
let
committee
it rock.
chairs, sent a letter to the White House asking for emails and documents. Thompson says the president himself caused the spike in asylum seekers by cutting aid to Central America.
So now you take that investment away, and obviously those people in those countries have to leave because of the crime and other things.
The letter says the idea is illegal
wait.
and shocking that the president would consider, quote, manipulating release decisions for purely political reasons.
If Democrats
Oh, is it
would
shocking?
step up and help
Oh,
the
this
president
broad.
fix the laws, this all
But
could
is
go
she,
away.
though?
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders
Have you seen
says
that meme
housing
where it
migrants
says
is
indica
expensive.
sativa?
And
No.
we don't
Oh,
want
yeah,
to
both
hold
sides
the
of her
border
face.
Both sides of her face,
border
indica sativa,
community.
like-
When DHS Secretary
So funny.
Kirsten Nielsen was forced to resign, some advocacy groups said they feared it happened because the Trump administration wanted a more extreme immigration policy.
Phil Wolgen is with the Center for American Progress.
Given just how bad she was on immigration, it's hard to think of what exactly could be worse.
President Trump reportedly pushed the transfer of
Blanket
asylum
statement.
seekers at least twice before, but DHS officials, including Secretary Nielsen, told the president no. In Washington, Alexandra Limon.
So that was a very fucking misleading because like that almost had nothing to do with the headline of the fucking article.
Right. Well, first off, the guy said that because we are cutting aid, or Trump is cutting aid to foreign countries, that means it's going to have more crime, and then they're going to end up coming here. Like, well, I mean, why are you even giving aid to any other country in the first place? You're stealing our money by force at the point of a gun and giving it to other people. It's not voluntary in any way, shape, or form. And now you're intervening and fucking with other countries. Like, so that right there was the dumbest fucking shit right off the bat that guy said. I was just like, who gives a shit? It's not our fucking problem. We aren't supposed to be, even though the lie is that we're the world police and the world charity givers, like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Why do we have to be? Your personal money is being stolen from you and taken and given to other people in other countries. Even if you were a statist, right? Like, wouldn't you rather your money that's being stolen from you help our vets and help our, from a statist perspective, I'm saying.
Oh, I
Wouldn't
understand.
you know what I mean? Wouldn't
Yeah.
you rather help the homeless and the shit all over San Francisco before you start giving money to other countries?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just taking your emotions out of like these poor people and all that. Like, shit, what would be the answer to that? Well, maybe there should be like charities and things like that pop up like, hey, these poor people in South America, they need money, they need financial, blah, 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 whatever. Like, we can make that happen, right? It happens all the time. Whenever there's a disaster or anything, you just got to advertise it that same way. Like,
Holy shit.
there's a human crisis going on in South America. We need you guys to donate. You take all the pictures with the kids and
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
You're going to get money.
You tell me you don't put out a fucking charity for South America that Bono doesn't jump on it right now. Like, straight up.
With those yellow lens sunglasses,
Fucking
bro.
guy.
Or Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah, right? Dude, just any one of those fucking...
That would fucking fit, dude. You got some little, South American babies looking like...
They're all sad and malnourished.
Well, and that's crazy because we just
That
came
is
up
kinda
with
sad.
one answer how we would do it without the government.
Bono.
And did you guys see what Cher was saying about the whole thing?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, God. She did a fucking 180.
Oh, dude. Yeah, she was like, I don't agree with it. Oh, my God. Wasn't that this whole...
If you could turn back time,
It was pretty much what
Could
she
you-
should have said.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
What
what
she
she
should've fucking
should have
said.
said.
I just made a Cher song reference. That's horrible.
Yeah, nah, I mean
but
Deadpool would
is
do
it
it.
though?
Deadpool
Yeah,
would do
okay.
it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's true.
You made me feel better about myself.
You should.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
Yeah, all right.
I got you.
Thanks,
dog.
bro.
Yeah. What
All
the
right,
fuck
so
did she say? She said some bullshit.
What exactly were they trying to say, though? They're saying that basically Trump is going to send the illegals to sanctuary cities, right?
That's what the fucking title said. The video didn't seem to say anything about that.
Yeah, I've heard some more on that story.
No, I mean, didn't the black dude say it's not fair that, he's going to do this and they're going to send him to my city? And, I mean, that's...
No, he was saying that because we cut off aid to South America...
Yeah, what we were just talking about.
That they have to leave that country.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was in their country. But what they were saying is that Trump was going to take the illegals and then send them to sanctuary cities. So that, you know what I mean? So, like, how does that answer any of the problems?
Well, I mean, so...
Even from a statist perspective.
You and I discussed this earlier. Like, if you're going to use my stolen money to send these people to a sanctuary city, why aren't we deporting them?
Yeah, from their perspective, too. We're talking about from a Trump-supporting perspective.
This whole fucking thing,
like,
I could give two shits about.
Sure.
Like, it's not... I'm sorry, but it doesn't fucking affect me. And, like, it's all using stolen money anyway, so I just have a problem with the whole fucking thing.
Well, what you were trying to say right there was what we were saying earlier was that, like, wouldn't it be a lot cheaper you get them at the border and then you bring them back over in a bus? Like, it wouldn't cost anything. Instead, you're going to ship them to different sanctuary cities? Like, that's going to cost more on the taxpayer. It's dumb either way. I'm just saying it doesn't even make sense.
This is very, very...
Even from statism.
This is very, very typical Trump action.
Well, it's a fuck you, basically, is what he's doing.
He's pandering to Republicans by trying to rub it in Democrats' faces, and that's what his whole fucking campaign is based on. Fuck the Democrats, and everyone's like, yeah, I said fuck the Democrats.
Because it sounds like he's saying, like, well, like a lot of the memes is like, well, if you want them to come over here, then you should just open up your doors and have them come in your house. So Trump is like, you know what? Fuck it, dude. Let's have them come in and go to their city where they have to do it.
Yeah, but once again, that's not even answering. You know what I mean? Like, they're not answering any of the problems. No one's trying to fix anything. They're just playing like this, like,
just being
game.
a dick.
Yeah, just Trump being a fucking asshole.
It's a political game, is what they're playing, and it's with your stolen tax dollars. Is what they're doing.
This is so fucking stupid.
Childish.
That's exactly what it is. Like, but like I said, I mean, he's just straight up pandering to Republicans, and they have the wool fucking pulled over their eyes. Like, we like him because he does this, and he may not do everything in the most,
tactful way.
Not tactful, yeah, the most, like, the fucking most common way, what have you. Right. Like, he does things that are a little rash and a little harsh, and that's what everyone is kind of like fucking patting him on the fucking back
he
for.
He beats me, but he treats me good too. That's what that reminds me of. The battered, the battered spouse. They beat me, but they treat me right too.
Why don't they leave, Steve? Why don't they leave? Like fucking. That's exactly what it is what it seems like to me. And the Republicans eat it up. They just don't. They're like, yeah, well, we like Trump because he makes the Democrats angry, and we like making Democrats angry. And it's like, you guys don't fucking see this two-party divide and conquer. Like, the whole system is what's fucked.
It's like that whole thing on social media, right? Everyone likes being a fucking troll, so they like that Trump is a troll.
Yeah,
he's kind of like the political troll. You know what I mean?
He kind of is.
And that when I've cheered for him a few times just because I knew it's pissing off.
Oh yeah,
Democrats.
me too.
Doesn't mean I supported even his position.
No.
It was just that it was funny as fuck.
Funny.
It's like troll recognize troll, homie.
Which is basically
what
that is, right? Like, fuck you. I'm gonna send the fucking the immigrants to a left-leaning city because they're a sanctuary city.
Yeah, and it's just so. It's exactly what it is. It's like
it's a troll.
Well,
it's a
I'm
troll.
a fucking Republican and I'm the president and I can do whatever the fuck I want. So fuck you, disagreeing party. Yeah. Like, it really is. It's like instead of sitting down and coming to some sort of compromise, it's like, nope, fuck you. I have executive power. I'm just going to do this to piss you off.
So what you guys that are supporting it, what you guys are saying is you support taxation being your money being stolen from you, and you're supporting trolling against the opposition party, right? And you're saying that it's okay to troll with human beings as your political pawns.
If you think that any of this is okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Crazy, right? If you really think about it.
It's like a bitter divorce couple or a bitter couple going through a divorce and we're the children and they're like trying to like use us as way. Well, I'm going to do this to these people, to get back at you. And it's like, it's not really doing shit to them. It's doing shit to us. And they're just going to look at you like, you know what? Well, I'm going to do this to them.
Yeah. Okay. So did anyone read this? Because I don't know much about this one.
Just a little bit. Basically, Cortez got out there and said that she is getting bullied and whatnot on the Facebook, and she's going to be leaving it after being on it for however many years, and that it's basically it's a public health risk is her ultimate conclusion on it. And I don't know if you guys seen any of her rants like on social media and stuff like. And she is insane, dude. Like she doesn't even make with her point of view, right?
I have tried to stomach through them.
She doesn't even make her points.
No, and it's like she's like, and it's like just going on, and it's like she sounds fucking horrible. And the thing is, it's like, you know, if people bully you, you know, it's your own fault. You don't have to be on there bitching about shit. Nobody cares about you drinking wine and fucking sitting down and cutting.
Yeah, that
shit.
was that last one.
Yeah, and it's
she got crucified for that shit.
Yeah, why are you doing that?
You sound like a babbling fucking idiot, dude. I listened to like a good chunk of that.
Why?
Yeah, half the shit that comes out of her mouth is a fucking public health risk.
She's a fucking babbling idiot.
That's
dude.
what's worse about it. It's because fucking
idiocracy. You already said it.
Yeah, well, we live in the fucking day and age where Kim Kardashian is famous for no fucking reason. Paris Hilton's famous for no fucking reason. It's like they're just rich. That's all they were.
Dude, Kim Kardashian is rich because she was Paris Hilton's closet organizer.
Well, yeah, and her dad was the guy that helped OJ get off.
But do you see what I'm saying, though?
And she
it's
loves
like
the BBC.
Stupid, right? And like, fucking, so we have shit like this where these I mean, great, have a role model. I don't give a fuck.
What does the British
really.
TV channel have anything to do with that?
Oh, okay.
He said BBC.
Nice. Yeah, I caught it.
You're all. I was trying to be.
Just trying to be nice.
Trying to
about
rise
it.
above it. Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable again.
JB sitting there like, shut the fuck up, you guys. I'm fucking
Hashtag BBC. Look it up.
Yeah, dude, on Pornhub.
Sure.
Yeah. A lot of hits there.
What were you saying before we interrupted you?
It's derailed. I don't even fucking know. I'm just saying that, like, if you want to have a role model, have a role model. Like, if you genuinely like the stuff that's coming out of this woman's mouth, fine. I personally think less of you as a person.
Seek help.
But, I mean, it is what it is. I don't care. It is a free country, allowed to have free speech, allowed to have free thought, whatever.
If I was a socialist or I was somebody leaning towards that socialism that she wants, I wouldn't want her either. And if you guys look at it, all the Democrat Party is against her. They distance themselves from her all the time. Her last Green Bill, the new Green Deal or whatever it was called, got shot down 0. No one even fucking voted for it. Neither
that was
party.
weird, no?
Neither party.
Like
no, they're all distancing themselves, and even Bernie Sanders said he was distancing himself from her. So it's just because she doesn't make any good points, and we've seen different stories come out too, where it's her whole campaign team and her political team, whatever you want to call them, they're giving her all her talking points. But then when she has to go off cuff and like respond because they don't, you're giving her points, you're not giving her every fucking answer.
Every word,
so then she has to think for herself, and then it just turns into this like babbling fucking.
All goes off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
So you think of it like this. Like I even had one of my buddies say that she's actually like trying to get rid of like lobbying. And I think that would be really good for politics if we get all the fucking money influence out of there so they can actual politics.
I agree,
maybe.
but do we even need lobbying or even worrying about that if there is no state?
No, we don't. Exactly. No, and I'm into that too. I'm just saying,
I know.
Within the confines of the bullshit we have to deal with now, if she says that she's against lobbying, to me that would mean that she's not getting any lobby support. So these things that she's pushing are her own fucking genius ideas. Who the fuck lets someone that comes up with this shit be in that type of a position? What the fuck? Like she's not. You mean to tell me that she's not even getting paid to push these?
I'll tell you who. The New York citizens have voted for her.
Jesus fuck.
Boom. How could you vote for this fucker, dude? Yeah, like what's her name? Nancy Pelosi like distanced herself from her all the time, and she's the head of the House, right? Like she's like basically
fucking.
Yeah, she's like the third in line to take over for president or whatever if something happens. And she's totally distanced herself and talks shit about her all the time. So all the kids are all, "Oh, look at her. She's so cool. She's so hep." Isn't that what you kids say these days, hep?
Hep.
Yeah.
With your Pac-Man video games and Hulu.
She's super neato, and she's click back to that picture real quick. Here, watch this. And she's really smart because she has the thinking face going there.
Yeah, super smart face going on.
Super smart.
I don't know. Yeah, watching her interviews are it's rough
torture.
to get through. It's rough to get through.
Yeah, I always thought it was bad when you had to deal with like Hillary and all them, but at least they make their point. I mean, her voice, that's a whole nother thing. But like the points, you know what I mean? The points that they're making, whether you agree with them or not, they're at least they know where they're going with even if they're wrong, they know where they're going with their points, right? But she never even fucking knows. Like, let's get rid of all the cows.
Like, come on.
And we'll be getting into that story in a while too.
Yeah.
Get rid of the cows. Let's get rid of airplanes. Like, she's just saying crazy insanity. Like,
but we could do it in 12 years. Or how many?
No, the world's gonna end in 12 years.
That's
apparently.
right.
Yeah.
World's gonna
I mean, we've had however old the Earth is, right? It's been around all this time, and now all of a sudden it's gonna end in 12 years, and they know this. How? Just fucking propaganda, dude.
She's so fucking.
I've been hearing since I've been, I'm fucking 41 years old. I've been hearing since I was a kid that we were gonna go into an ice age. Yeah. And now then it went to global warming. Then it goes into climate change. And it's always something different. And it's just, you can't necessarily predict this stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's certain things that you can predict, but like, come on, be a little rational about it. And if it is such a big problem, right, then let's have like honest discussions about it, not this whole fucking right wing versus left wing. You know what I mean? That's what it always comes down to. It just with the same two-party system we have in government, that's what basically this turns into, the global warming or climate change debate. It turns into this whole right versus left ideologies.
Yeah.
And that's not what it even should be about. Just here's a crazy idea. Why don't we just keep the fucking earth clean?
Yeah, that works.
Like, why do we need all this other bullshit?
That works.
And what always happens is all the global warming and the generally the left wing side, they always want to put in all these regulations with government. So that I mean, it's ultimately to aid and continue the nanny state, the big daddy government to control you. And I mean that's basically all they're ever pushing. So it's like whether you believe in climate change, not whatever. It's like they're trying to use it as a tool to promote their agenda. They all, and you'll see all the answers are, I can prove it, all their answers are taxes. So that's all it is. They don't have like actual answers. They're just saying, oh, we'll get carbon tax. Well, what is that actually doing?
Like,
it ain't doing shit. It's stealing your money is what it's doing.
I'll give you just an example. Like, so this is one of those things like, I don't litter. Like, I will always put my trash in my pocket or in my car or something like that, and so I can throw it away later. I will not fucking litter just because that's the one little thing that I can do as a person to make my difference, right? Now, if I'm out with friends and I see one of them toss something on the ground,
you'll pick it up?
Yeah, or I'll tell them to, or I'll ask them to. I'm like,
and
hey,
if
man.
they don't, you just do.
Yeah, and I just pick it up because it's like that is so simple, so little, so small.
So simple.
It's so simple. But then if I'm also leading by example, you know, because I'm vocal about it. If I saw you toss something on the ground, I'd be like, oh, come on, man. Like,
you know what works even better than that, though?
What's that?
If you just do it and you don't say anything. It makes them feel like an asshole. You're shaming them.
That's true. I guess so.
Try it next time.
All right.
Watch.
Fucking see
Report back, Jamie, to the Green 86 podcast. I'm telling you right now, dude, because I've done that once or twice, and they felt, I'm so sorry, man. I'll get it. Let me get I got it.
Already got
and then
it.
you put it, and it makes them feel like shit.
And did you have a look on your face? Did you have like a...
And at minimum, they probably won't do it again in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they're still doing it, at least when you're around, they
and
won't.
see, and that just comes down to what I believe is part of being a good human 101. Okay, that's taking care of the earth because we kind of all.
What
need
if one
the
of
earth.
your friends did the old San Francisco poop trick, though?
Well, I mean, are we recording?
You get
it?
one of those doggy bag things
Yeah, I
and
was
you
like,
pick it up.
Are we recording it? Is this going to be some sort of guerrilla shit YouTube video?
I didn't say voluntary. I was talking about they just shit. Like, it wasn't like one of your escapades. It was more of a...
Like it happened accidentally or something?
Yeah.
All right, I don't know. Fuck. I'd probably tell them to clean it up. I'd be like, come on, man. We already got enough of this here. Just because it's already a toilet doesn't mean you got to shit in it like a toilet.
Yeah, San Francisco is the shit.
God damn it.
All right. I derailed that a little. Sorry.
That's all right. That's okay. That's
that was a good little thing. I mean, like, you could shame people into it. And that goes into the free market, right? Someone's doing something that you don't like, shame them into it. We get into this whole thing where it's not good to shame people and all. Fuck that. If they're doing something wrong, shame them.
Yeah, ostracization,
well,
right?
Yeah, and if they were really bad, then literally remove yourself. Like, if they were doing crazy shit, like, what if they kept dumping oil into the water or something? You're going to be like, okay, guess what? Fuck you. I ain't hanging out with you no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then
much.
you literally cut yourself off from them. So what's wrong with that? That's free market solution.
Yeah. Just remove yourself from the equation.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So many people have a problem with this fucking mind your own business philosophy. You know what I mean? Everyone's got to be a fucking hero.
Yeah, I mean, they could say the same thing, like, mind your own business because I'm littering, right? They could say that. But it affects everyone, right? So that's where I guess that would change.
Yeah, I suppose. There's probably some heavy philosophy that goes into that whole thing.
The littering part of it and all that?
Well, just, I mean, like, at what point is it, at what point is it collectivism? Because we all need the earth, you know? But it's like...
Yeah, but that's kind of selfish, too, because you need the earth, right? So you
Yeah.
could look at it from that. From an individual perspective, you could look at, well, the earth, yeah, everyone needs it, whatever. But for me to survive and flourish and my family and whatnot, and my friends, it's like you do need a fucking place to live, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it does come selfishly down to the individual still.
Sure.
But I see what you're saying, because that is a hard one to kind of wrap your mind around. But that's how I'd answer it.
Okay. I can dig that.
Yeah. All right.
You guys want to see another shit show?
Yeah, of
so
course.
check this
Always.
out. These guys. Okay, so in India, these guys the Navy got a new sub on the maiden voyage in the fucking harbor. One of these fucking crewmen forgot to batten down one of the hatches, and water got into the propulsion system, and it caused not irreparable damage, but it's a $2.9 million sub, and it's been undergoing repairs since its maiden voyage.
Is there video of this or
no video?
Yeah,
so they when they launched it, right? That's when it happened. They didn't have a hatch locked. Is that I'm assuming?
Right? Well, I think they tried to dive with it.
Yeah,
but
they didn't have something battened down or whatever.
Yeah, they didn't close one of the
Batten down
hatches,
the hatches.
straight up.
Arr.
They didn't close a hatch.
Yeah,
and fucking water got into the propulsion system. So it's like, oh my god.
Fucking guys.
I just thought that shit was
You had one job.
exactly fucking Tom or something.
Is
whatever
this
his
their
name was.
first submarine?
I don't know.
I don't
Like
think
India's
so.
first submarine? Like
I don't know. It's a nuclear missile submarine though. So I don't know if that means it's nuclear powered or if it has nuclear missiles. I'm not quite sure.
both.
Yeah, or both. Yeah. But yeah,
There's that.
I just thought that was fucking
so
funny.
you could have the
the
most
submarine.
awesome toy on the in the yard and
In
it
the
just,
on the block.
yeah,
Yeah,
on the block and guess what? You can't play with it because
because you fucked it up.
because you left this little hole right there.
So I know.
Jesus Christ!
Oh,
All
that's
right.
fucking hilarious.
I love the concept of like military fuck ups. Like, do you remember that one where they dropped the fucking Hummer out of the fucking like C-130 or whatever, and the chute didn't open?
Yeah, it didn't deploy.
Yeah, just boom on the ground.
That actually, so that happens all the time.
That's fucking
Yeah,
scary to
I've
know.
heard from a lot of different military people that happens all the time, where they're dropping a tank, mostly with the Humvees and shit like that, because that's what they use all the time.
Yeah.
But it's happened with tanks and deuce and a halfs and all that. They'll be dropping them.
That's
the
fucking
chute don't
hilarious.
deploy.
That's hilarious.
Are
dude.
there ever people in the Humvees when they drop?
No,
No.
never,
Okay.
never. No, they're on like a pallet generally, and there's a parachute rig to it, like Operation Dumbo Drop.
Nice.
shit.
Good call out. Holy shit.
Good movie.
Yeah, it is a good movie. If
That's
you guys haven't seen Operation Dumbo Drop, watch it. It's a great movie.
very tactical.
And it's, I would say, it's kind of kid friendly.
yeah, it's.
I
think
It's a
was.
Disney movie.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna show that to my son.
Yeah, Vietnam era. They had to
Yeah.
go rescue an elephant or get an elephant to give to a tribe that their elephant died because it's good luck. And they, at the end, they're running on a time crunch, and at the end, they end up just throwing it out of a fucking C-130 with a parachute. So fortunately, the parachute deployed. There is some sketchiness with that situation, but yeah, the elephant was good. So it was a good little family movie. I like it, and it's got some cool, a lot of tiger stripe Vietnam era shit.
I
Special
fucking
forces.
love Tiger Stripe, dude. Tiger Stripe's such a cool camo.
Yeah. I own a little bit of it.
I know. I don't have any. I gotta get some because
Yeah.
that shit's fucking cool.
Yeah, shout out to Tim. He hooked me up with a pair of fucking pants, some BDUs.
Nice.
Yeah, tiger stripe ones.
It's fucking tight.
We got a lot of shout outs tonight.
Yeah, we do. We're not
I haven't even got to the
Yeah,
shout outs.
we're not even in the shout out section yet.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Alrighty.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to talk about our first freedom topic today, and we are going to talk about monopolies. When we talk about free market capitalism, when we talk about monopolies, a lot of people want to talk about monopolies and say, hey, like, how is the free market going to stop monopolies? And what we're here to kind of say is, why are monopolies bad again?
Yeah, so what's really wrong with a monopoly in the first place?
I feel like the only negative thing that you would have to say about a monopoly is where that monopoly is then state funded or run by the government.
Yeah, I think that when most people say something bad about the monopolies, I feel like that generally when they're saying that is they mean like they're going to have that, like the definition of it, where the one person or a group like a what do you call it, a corporation or something, they own that one thing and no one else can fucking, use that unless you buy it from them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So usually it's like, I have this product and no one else can get it from anyone else except for me.
But if you think about it,
that's usually how I hear them refer to it.
And just to get rid of that stipulation right away, the only way to do that would be with legislation. If we don't have legislation like we wouldn't have in a free market, there's nothing stopping you from getting that product from somebody else who wants to make it. And there's nothing stopping anyone else from making it.
Right, and so that goes into the whole thing, like where when we talked about corporations, and we've brought that up a few times, there is no such thing as a corporation outside of government. Corporations are created by law. So that means government. That means the statism, right? So that is right there showing you that all the people that everyone, when someone says, hey, what about this corporation having a monopoly? Well, first off, there would be no monopolies if there wasn't the state.
Exactly.
And if in a free market there was a monopoly, like say we did have a free society, free market capitalism, whatever, right? Total free market. Say someone discovered some kind of fuel X, and they created this fuel X, right? And no one else had this. Well, if it's a free market, then someone's going to try to develop the same exact thing, or they're going to find other alternatives. So they're going to maybe find a fuel Y or a fuel W or something, and then they can compete with that. So some things might end up, because of competition, actually being a better thing, right? It might be more cost effective, whatever, right? Or the other people figure out how to make that exact fuel X or whatever we're going to call that, and then they match it, and then now you have this competition war with prices. Exactly. So all of a sudden, monopoly gone. And furthermore, when we were just saying is like necessary, like, so what if, are you going to say that every person out there, so we're taking let's take the corporations out of it, because we already said corporations are only because of the state. So if we take corporations out of it, now we'll just say big business for sake of argument, or an individual like a rich guy, right? Or gal, whatever. So if they had something and they had a monopoly on it, they created it, does that necessarily mean that that company or that person is a bad thing? It could be like a life cancer vaccine or some new technology. Somebody could find some kind of thing that they have a monopoly on. It's just because they discovered it. It doesn't. There's no way in a free market society that you're gonna not be able to match that or have competition with that, because it's free market. You have competition. So that doesn't. I don't even understand how people think that. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, if someone creates something and they have a monopoly just because they created it, because no one else has even heard of it before, right? It's a whole new thing. Okay, well, in time, other people will either duplicate it, match it, or create other variants or other things, right? They're going to create other things to compete with it because it's free market.
So, and this kind of brought up the whole thing with, like, well, patents, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to have patents if we abolish the state, because there would be no one to necessarily run that, unless whatever society you decided to live in agreed to have some organization run that type of thing based on intellectual property and patents, right? But if you think about it, if I created something, it's my intellectual property, it belongs to me, but then if there's nothing to protect that, I understand that the risk that I run by putting that product out into the public is that somebody might reverse engineer it.
You voluntarily put it out into the market, so now someone can reverse engineer it if they can. And if you were a real rich person or a rich company or whatever, like, and you put out that product, and it was like harder to decipher because it was so complex of a product, right? Like a computer system or something like that, right? Or it was really encrypted or whatever. Like, it was hard to what did you call that? I fucking just forgot. Reverse engineer. Yeah, I was going to say dissect it. That's why. It is the same thing, but yeah.
It's the same thing.
So if you couldn't figure out how to do that, well, I mean, if you were trying to figure out how to do it, and it was really hard to do that, like you didn't have everyone out in the space to be able to figure out how to do it, well, the private company, if you don't have a patent, right, the private company or the private person, you just have security measures, right? You have ways that you're not having your employees leak out your information. Yep. And, you might think about these like tech companies, right? They put out a product for a couple years and then they replace it with another one, or every year, right? Yeah. So by the time the market gets that and figures out how to recreate that product, right, you're already on to the next fucking thing. So it's already obsolete. So
Yeah.
no one even talks about it that way, though.
No, they don't.
I
don't
understand how it's hard to understand.
That was the whole reason why I wanted to come in and talk about that, is because it's like they're in a true free market. There are ways around this, like you were saying too. So for whatever my product is, if I didn't want my employees talking about it outside of the workplace, well, then I could have them sign non-disclosure agreements or whatever. Did I say non-disclosure agreements is what I meant to say?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's true free market, like if they don't want to sign it, then they are opt to go be employed somewhere else. It doesn't necessarily they don't have to be employed at my company, right? Wouldn't be corporations. Everyone would be an individual in a company like that, because a corporation is allowed to act as a single entity under law. And if we didn't have any of that, everyone would be an individual. So it wouldn't be like if I went out and I misrepresented my company then would not be liable for my actions. I would be liable for my actions because I'm an individual and I was the one who did those actions, regardless of whether or not my company condones my actions or not. Like, this is just getting into the whole breaking down corporations. If we had a free market,
right,
it would be individuals, all of them. You could all operate under a certain company. You can represent a certain company, but I mean, it would have to all be voluntary. If I didn't want to, let's say, act a certain way to be representative of a certain company while I'm on company time, well, then I don't have to work for that company.
Yeah. You can walk out the door.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, and most of these answers, like with the free market and monopolies and all that, if you're just using the principles that we always talk about, the voluntary transactions, the individual, self-ownership, property rights, and the non-aggression principle, I mean, you pretty much can, with those things, if you learn those 5 things, then eventually you're going to be able to answer every single problem. As long as you take your emotions out and you understand the philosophy, you can answer your own questions when you have your own questions about how do we do this or how do we do that.
Absolutely. No, I agree.
I've seen you do it 100 times to yourself.
Yeah, to myself. Yeah. It's fucking. I've gone. Yeah, because it's one of those things where once you understand the core philosophies, like sometimes just saying it out loud, you're like, that's the thing I don't like. Damn it.
Right.
Like
Well, and what do we say last week? We said, pretty much the answer to any of these questions and problems is the free market, which means competition. Because the free market is about making money, it's about selling, it's about trading, it's about voluntary transactions. It's all these things. And so if we have that as our answer already, it's like then we could figure out how whatever the question fits into that. Which is what I was saying. Find out your core beliefs and then go from there. And I did that little short video rant, Johnny Doe rant of, the philosophy. And that's what I talked about on there, too. It's like find out what you believe in and why. And start there. Keep it simple. Start with, like, it's wrong to steal. It's wrong to initiate force against someone else. It's wrong to rape. It's wrong to kill. It's wrong to steal. Whatever, right? You have all these different... your basic core of what's right and wrong, and then you go from there and you build it off, and you'll see all the voluntary transactions, voluntarism, individualism, your property rights and self-ownership and the non-aggression principle. All those things all work together with what I just said. You can tie like stealing, murder, assault, rape, whatever. You can figure out how all those 5 things are all going to relate with the non-aggression principle or voluntary transaction or self-ownership or self-governing or whatever, right?
Or free market.
Yeah, absolutely. Capitalism, whatever, like true capitalism. Like you'll figure out how they all work together.
Absolutely. And it's kind of interesting how
easy they work together.
They are all tied in together. Like it's all this fucking ball of philosophy. You have to you learn about one and then you're like, okay, now I got to learn about this one and this
I got
one,
a little observation here. It might anger some people. So, and I'm not trying to bash on anyone, but it's pretty hard to understand the Trinity in Christianity. But yet there's a lot of people that get on board with that. Where this is 5, right? It's 5 things that pretty much everything relate into libertarianism and AnCap. It's like, well, I can understand these and how they all talk to each other and how they affect all the what the true free market AnCapistan style kind of thing. Like they all actually make sense off of philosophy and political ideology, and they all work together, and you can get to there. Where it's like the Trinity, it's like, well, I can't explain any of that. That's all faith-based. But people can buy onto that more than they can buy onto this, which is crazy. Kind of weird.
You want to know something that I've noticed? I feel like most people that can't get on board with the whole like anarcho-capitalism thing
or libertarianism,
they always come at me with the stuff like, well, why? What's stopping people from doing X or what's stopping people from doing Y? And it's
always that kind
harming
of,
people or stealing from people, something
or
like
how
that.
would we?
And one thing that I've realized is that everyone that is a libertarian or an anarcho-capitalist that I know or I've seen, none of these people have any interest in taking anything from anybody else. Everyone just has an interest of just keeping to themselves and stay the fuck off my property and stay out of my shit.
Minding your own business.
Mind your own fucking business. So already the people that believe this type of shit, in my eyes, are already not the kind of people that want to hurt anybody anyway. So for you to come at me and be like, well, people are always going to be bad. Well, maybe you're always going to be bad. Maybe that's why it doesn't work for you. It's because you're a piece of shit.
That's true. Don't start nothing, don't be nothing.
Yeah, well, that's how the statism mind thinks. They want the collectivism. They want to control you, and the libertarians and AnCaps don't. They're coming from the whole perspective of leave me alone, mind your own business, don't boss me. You know, like I don't understand how it's that hard to understand.
It's every person I've talked to that thinks like us is like, yeah, like you wouldn't ever expect them to want to hurt anybody. They're just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck, just leave me alone.
Yeah, we don't believe for the majority of libertarians and AnCaps, anarcho-capitalists, that generally we don't want a revolution. We want a war of ideas, peaceful war of ideas. So it has nothing to do with any kind of force through a state or people or whatever. It's just literally like, hey, let everyone be. And I said on the last one, we're perfectly good within a free society having a community that is a socialist. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as they're not forcing people to stay there or forcing anything on us, I don't care. You're voluntarily choosing to participate in that system. That's fine. But don't fucking tell me what to do and let me live my own fucking life and do my own shit.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's that fucking difficult.
That sounds just like Jimi Hendrix if 6 was 9. No, really, dude. I mean,
that song.
No,
I'm not
you don't
really
know
a
that?
big Hendrix fan.
Oh, I
like some of his stuff, but I'm not really a big.
Hendrix is awesome, but the whole thing. I mean, he's talking about it. If all the hippies cut their hair, I don't care. I mean, just do what you want to do. Just leave me the fuck alone.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of rock culture is that way too. You know what I mean?
I mean, he even says it. He's like, I got my own life to live, and I don't have to worry about you. Just
straight up,
do your shit. Leave me the fuck alone.
Mind your business.
You do you, I do me, and don't say shit when I do me, and I won't say shit when you do you. That's pretty simple, no?
Well, yeah, we talked about that a little bit on one of the podcasts a while ago, is how rock and roll is just not the same nowadays. Now they're all collectivist and stuff, and it's like they work with the system and the state to, promote things and shit, and it's like rock and roll is like rebellious and teenagers, don't tell me what to do, bro.
Like rock and roll and punk rock were like almost a synonymous,
almost the same kind of thing. Punk
message.
rock was the more like you're gonna like this. Rock and roll is like the libertarians. Punk rock is like the AnCaps.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
That's kind of like what they were. Even though the ideologies aren't there, but it's like that same kind of comparison.
Punk rock was always, by genre, is always anti-system, whereas rock and roll was kind of like, fuck you, we're obscene, kind of, you know what I mean? It was a little bit different, but yeah, I think you kind of nailed it.
It was still against the whole, you know what I mean, like the whole system kind of.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it with the whole libertarian anarcho.
That one was good.
Alrighty. What do we got?
Cool.
Oh, we got our funny shit now, huh?
Yeah. Okay, so before we go to a break, we got one funny video to show you guys. I'm hoping this makes it onto the final cut.
Yeah, we don't get flagged for it or
We might
something.
get caught here.
Yeah.
We'll see. But this is a gentleman on YouTube. He goes by the name Fuck Long. He is fucking hilarious.
I want that shirt.
Let me back this up here.
They used to sell that shit at Target, bro.
All right, here we go.
Oh, man, what the hell you talk about? I missed out again?
Yeah, so he's got a...
My name is Fuck Long, and today we're talking about the self-defense. Some people out there want to take all your money, kick your duck, do the booty infiltrate. Some people say you pee your pants, do the throw up, and you make them not horny anymore. And they go away. But I don't want the foot long inside the foot long. Some people use the pepper spray.
Got the cock sauce.
But not the 100% reliability. At the Firepower United, we had a new self-defense tool for you to carry every single day. Legal all 50 states, legal all country. When you do the blowing, everybody around you know you about to get the contact rear. And they come to help you make the bad guy very scared. I show you how we do. Let go my egg roll!
Oh my God.
And that's how you stop the booty infiltrate.
The booty infiltrate.
And he does not talk like that in real life, people at home. Just so you guys know, he plays that up big time.
He's so good, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's
and he's a real gunner. Like he actually shoots.
Yeah,
like he's not
he can
just
shoot.
goofing around.
Yeah, he can.
I mean, he is there, but in real life, he actually knows how to fire guns and stuff.
He's fucking. He does lots of videos. I recommend you guys go take a look at him because he does.
But
He
it's
does some other
funny.
funny. We don't. Okay, just so disclaimer,
Right.
we don't know if he agrees with any of the shit coming out of our mouths. We
Oh, yeah,
know
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure
yeah.
he's never seen our show.
Yeah.
We just think he's fucking funny. So there it is.
Yeah, good
Deadpool
times.
podcasts. A little bit of
Yeah, sure.
little bit of mild racism on that one. But he's Asian, so it's okay, right? Does that make it?
Yeah.
I made myself uncomfortable. All right, let's go to break.
There. So, Aaron, what exactly got you into all this? Like you were saying, like anti-authority in the break here. We were talking.
Yeah.
So you started out where you were like, I just didn't. That's what kind of got you into the whole.
Just forcing you to do something like, here, you have to do this, you have to do that, and it's like, what? But
So the "don't boss me" and "stay out of my business" kind of
Yeah.
concept is where you
Yeah.
kind of started your journey into like libertarian style of thought.
yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole, rebellious, like I said, I just never liked school because I always thought it was like, I was never interested.
Right.
Well, why are you
I
never
can relate.
interested? Well, there was only a few classes, like automotive, electronics,
That got your
science,
interest?
That got my interest because, that was actually stimulating me creatively.
Yeah. And we're big here on the podcast with science, so that's
So, you can't sit there and
Real big. It's very scientific.
you can't sit there until, somebody that wants to use their brain, that wants to be creative, that wants to express themselves like, hey, you have to learn this first.
Right.
Like, why the fuck do I have to sit there and play this memory game with you? And
Right.
And that's all.
You're talking about the test, basically. Yeah.
Oh,
Just memorize, pass,
it's all
and
the
then
testing,
forget.
memorize, testing, and guess what? You're out of here.
It's not about learning. It's about
graduated.
yeah.
How many of those valedictorians came out with their videos and they're just like saying like, dude, I fucked up. I did it wrong. He's all, dude, I thought this was all about getting good grades and doing all this and doing it right. He's all, I didn't do it right. He's all, dude, I just sat there and just learned to remember shit, and I did good on tests, and that's what gets me by. That's why I'm up here.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point, dude? He's all, I didn't have any fun. I didn't fucking, forge any bonds with anybody. I didn't, build these friendships. I didn't go through any hardships. I didn't grow in any way.
Yeah.
So what's the point? You didn't have any education for yourself. You just sat there and you just, became this nice little carved out
little
piece
robot.
of wood.
Yeah, you kind of just do what you're supposed to do to get by, and then
And it come, and that's why I sat there that one time, and it really pissed me off when my son got a fucking referral for not listening because he didn't freeze during the freeze bell at recess.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at the referral, and I told you this.
it's like it's recess, bro.
Yeah, and he's a kid. He's 8.
Yeah.
Give him a break.
Like if you were doing your thing during like a PE class or something, he wasn't listening. Right? I get it, but like what in a recess? What the hell?
But the whole thing that pissed me off too was it said on the on their little referral
Right.
form like
Your ticket
your ticket, your citation. I got I got plenty of
issued by a statist.
got plenty of them. It said where good students become good citizens.
Statism.
And that fucking and I'm like, dude, so what you're saying is if you could listen
Follow
here,
the rules,
you
and
could
you'll be
listen
good.
there. And it goes with a lot of AnCaps say, like Larkin Rose is like, dude, you're in this indoctrination center for how long? And they always tell you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. And nobody ever asks why, because they sit there and say, oh, because you have to. This is what we do. You have to do what we do.
Right.
The Pledge of Allegiance every day to the republic for which it stands. Are we a republic, really?
Kind of.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't.
But still, you're having to. You
but
have
you're
to do it,
pledging-
right? Like they're
but-
making you do it
But you're pledging allegiance
to something you
to
might not even
something
agree
that-
with.
Yeah, so they're sitting there saying that this is what you say every day, every day, every day, every day, and you got to fucking worship the sky flag that
Mhm.
says, oh my God, you have to do it this way, you have to respect this, but nobody ever asks why.
So your biggest thing is basically just being bossed around and told what to do and being like micromanaged or just managed, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having people plan your life out for you and tell you how to fit into the box.
Being forced into compliance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what you guys are talking about here. It all starts somewhere. It all starts at the indoctrination stage,
yes,
right?
And then it's funny because I didn't become a gun owner because I fired a gun. I wasn't really into it. I didn't become a gun owner until the Sandy Hook, and they were like, this
Oh, you're
gun.
really recent then.
Yeah. This
Welcome,
gun.
my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
But he was like, this gun did it. And he's holding up a AR-15.
Yeah.
I'm looking, I'm like, dude, what's
It doesn't
your
even
problem?
matter, just a firearm in general, right? It doesn't matter what firearm it was.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even matter because he would have still done it with whatever it was, whatever he had access to.
Yeah.
So like you kind of basically
that's
when you purchased your first gun.
Oh yeah,
because it was like because it's kind of like you saw kind of through that, like he's already trying to make it seem like it's this big scary evil thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna have one then.
And that's right around the time I like voted for him the second time, and I felt not even the second time. I voted once in my life, and his second term was the worst time, and I had that was my first time, and it was a whole thing. Well,
who you're talking about? Obama.
Yeah, against Mitt Romney, and me and my wife sat there. We talked about it. And it's like, who are you going to vote for? I'm like, God, are you going to vote? And it's like, well, who? Well, and I even said it. I was like, well, we're going to vote for the guy who who's sitting there like saying, you know what, you may get fucked in the ass eventually, compared to the guy who's like, I'm going to fuck you in the ass.
What if by some weird what if I wrote my own name in at the ballot and like I magically won the presidency and then just didn't agree to I just didn't do can you get fired from being president by just not doing anything? I'm like, what is he doing now?
That's what libertarians all joke about. They want to take over so they'll do nothing.
And just do nothing. He's eating fucking
the ones that want to vote
Apple Jacks on the fucking front lawn of the White House. Like, do we get him? Well, he's not going to help us with anything. He's just like, fuck it. Yeah. Just be half drunk all the time, walking around the White House in a fucking bathrobe, like interrupting the tours and shit. What the fuck are you all doing in my house?
What do you guys want?
So basically what you're saying is, but basically, let me get it back real quick, but like basically you're saying is your whole thing was just that whole don't boss me, don't control me, and that's how you first kind of came into it. Was that the time when you did your vote or whatever, the Sandy Hook era? Was that when you kind of became a libertarian, or was it before that?
I want to say it was right around the time I started paying attention.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was like, you know what? I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. And it was like I looked at libertarian, and I was like, you know what? Boom, I got, it's like...
It felt right.
It felt right to be, like, there.
That's when you started to become a libertarian, basically. Mm-hmm. So it was right around that time.
Yeah, right around that time.
Okay, cool. I'm just curious
attention.
about when you what kind of pushed you into becoming a libertarian, because everyone has slightly different reasons. Oh, yeah. So yours was more about, like, I don't like authoritarians.
Yeah, I don't.
Right? And Jamie, what was your kind of push? I know, like, me and you have had a lot of talks and stuff, but I know that had something to do with it. But, like, was there a part of it?
A lot to do with it.
Okay, but what was, like, something that really kind of was the main, it could be two or three things, but what was the main driving force of it?
So what I liked, and it's not because I like to look down on people. It's not because I like to think of myself as better than anybody, but I really liked the transcendence, aspect of it. Where it's like, well, you're not a Republican, you're not a Democrat, and I'm like, well, what if I'm nothing?
Sounds a little rebellious. Kind of sounds the same.
Kind of the
same.
You know what I mean?
Reason.
It's kind of like, well, what, like, why? So my family is I have some family that used to always be Democrat, and I have some family that are very, very conservative.
Both sides, yeah.
And now I have my family that was Democrat is more along the lines of like they're starting to become pro Second Amendment, and like trying to be not necessarily anti-government.
Right.
I don't have very good
questioning things more than they were before is kind of what you're saying.
They're thinkers is what I'm saying. And I see that even the side of my family that's Republican is even starting to be like, well, maybe there's another option as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like my own mother was one of the most conservative people that I've known always, and now she's kind of like, yeah, I kind of think I like this whole libertarian thing a little more. And so I mean, she's watched the show before,
nice.
And like she's like, yeah, I kind of like the stuff that you guys are saying.
Shout out to Jamie's moms.
Straight up.
Yeah, what's up, Mom?
And I think that it's like, it's one of those things where I sort of like having a different place. It's kind of libertarians are kind of like the underdog of the political world, and I always am the underdog of everything that I fucking do.
This is very punk rock of you.
No, I want to say it's about time that people, sit there and wake up and see that there is a third option, because they sit there and they vote and they vote and they vote and they never get anywhere.
So they got, I mean, in the statist world, right? You got the Republicans, the Democrats, you got the Independents, and you got the Libertarians. Those are the biggest ones that you're gonna deal with. Now, I would definitely say if you're gonna vote, obviously, go for the Libertarian Party. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
However, like for me, and I think I'm speaking for you too, but like me and Jamie aren't really about the whole voting thing. I'm not sure where Aaron stands on that whole thing. You're against it too?
I was against voting Bush's second term.
But you were against voting?
Yeah. After I found, after I sat there.
But you voted for Obama after that.
Well,
you made an error.
Yeah.
You kind of just was like, I'll try to. Well, you were starting to get interested in politics, so you were trying to find your way at the time. It was
like, dude, this is staged. You know what I mean? And it's like, but you gotta vote, and it's like pressure from the wife, and it's like,
And you're so
don't put it off on her.
Oh, I am gonna put it off on you.
And you're so pressured too,
starting shit on the show
by society that if you don't vote, you don't have any right to complain.
Yeah, you don't have you
fucking
have no right
watch me.
Right, absolutely. So why not? Right?
What did George Carlin say about that?
Oh, he said a bunch of shit about
exact thing. He said that they like to twist it around. They like to get it mixed up. If you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain. He says, fuck that. I have every right to sit back and complain about the mess that you fucking made.
They're creating the whole system, and they're perpetuating it. They're continuing it, and they're voting in the same idiots. We already know that one time the Republicans in, and then the next time the Democrats in, or they have a double term, and then it's just back and forth. It's always like, look at history.
Because what is a vote, dude? Your vote is saying, like, here, I want you to think for me.
Well, what really a vote is it's mob rule. Ultimately, and it comes down to forces. So the majority that wins is the majority that's going to control everyone. So it's all about power and control, which we always say on the podcast, and that's pretty much all it is. If you don't like the government, then voting is part of the government. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's
a tool of the government. How did
that guy say it? It's begging for a little piece of your rights back, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
They're fucking just taking.
All right, now that we're back.
Yeah, Jesus.
Welcome back. We were just talking during the break, and I pushed record so we can kind of get a little conversation in there.
Yeah, that was good.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, you guys are having a good one there.
Yeah, alrighty. So shout-outs.
Yes. Okay, so we already shout out to Chase in the beginning. Ashley. Let's do Misty and Todd, Valerie, Kurt. Shout out to Kurt, a new freedom fighter.
Right on. What up? Welcome.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. You got shout-outs?
Wife, son.
Yeah, you better get that shout-out in there. You started shit, so.
Yeah, we're not going to back you up.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
We don't have his back on this one. Just this one thing. Everything else, I got your back.
You are an individual in this case.
You voluntarily made your decision.
I will.
You made your bed. You sleep in it, motherfucker.
Yeah. Or the couch in this situation.
Yeah. If you want to,
she won't watch.
If you want to,
then you're good.
If you want to voluntarily employ me as security, we can maybe work out a contract.
Yeah. Imagine that, and you're not the police.
Yeah. Whoa.
Not the police.
Shout out to Joe. What up? Let's see who else. Chuck, my boy Chuck. What up? Steven. I always gotta get those ones out. John.
Stevens.
Yeah. So get a little shout outs there.
I feel like that list is steadily growing.
Also, withoutrulers.co on Instagram. Withoutrulers.co. Check out his page. He's got Facebook, and he's got the Instagram. So Instagram's his main platform that he's on all the time. He said what up to me in a chat we were in last night, or not a chat. What do you call those things?
A live stream.
Live stream. Yeah.
Go ahead and tell that story. That's fucking hilarious.
All right. Well, basically, he was on a live stream with a anarchist guy that's a really smart guy. He's a kid. He's 21. And he was going on and explaining all this stuff. He's great. I was listening to him. I didn't have any disagreements with him. But he's kind of like, if you guys know who Ben Shapiro is, he's kind of like that, but an AnCap. So he's going on really intellectual and all that shit, and I pop on the stream, and my boy from Without Rulers is like, "Yo, Johnny, what up?" And he said it like 2 or 3 times, and he was interrupting the guys like totally like in the zone. It was pretty fun. I was fucking laughing my ass off. I wish I had that recorded. Like
I know. I fucking wish you
like
did too.
Cracking up, and I'm like, "What up, brother?"
It was a live stream on what?
It was on Without Rulers, the same thing. He
was on his website?
Yeah.
Do you think it's recorded?
So it's up on, what was the other one? AnCaps Society. It was also, they were splitting it, and I logged in through AnCaps Society for the first half, and then when I logged in the second half, because they had to, like, it runs out at a certain time, and they go, let's get back on. So I popped on through, because I didn't see it through my boy. I would have gone on without rollers, you know?
Yeah.
And then when I popped on there, I interrupted the whole thing.
That's fucking
So I was kind of
hilarious.
proud that that I got to interrupt even stuff I'm about.
That's all. Hey,
It's kind of funny.
any
as
press
fuck.
is good press.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd have been cool to get a shout out. Right
Oh, I
then
would have
and
been,
there.
but, you know, it is what it is. He said what up to me, so it was cool. It was funny. It was just one of those things. I was just listening. I wasn't trying to, like, be involved, and then after that I did get a little involved, but I wasn't setting out to do that. And
Yeah.
he was actually, they were both talking about monopolies and going through that whole thing, too. And, yeah, it was cool. One of the points that I made, I don't know if they understood what my point was, but it's like, you know, there's still going to be shit that happens in a free society. Like, and I know that they understand that, you know what I mean? Like, but everyone's always like, what happens if there's no government and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, there's always going to be shit happening. There's shit happening in a controlled statist environment.
Shit happening now.
And there's shit that's going to happen in a free market. No, we're, as libertarians and anarcho-capitalists, we're not saying that there isn't going to be shit, and we're not utopians. Like, we're not social planners.
And they expect everything that we propose to be perfect.
Yeah, well, that's why. So when you hear a Democrat and a Republican arguing, right, or a conservative or liberal, they're never asking that kind of question to that extent.
No, they're not.
But when it's a libertarian or an AnCap, they're all of a sudden like, well, how would we do this without government?
Exactly.
So, and the answer is always the same. How do we do it now? People do it.
Yeah.
Free market does it.
And if you fuck up, you learn from it.
Isn't that kind of fucked? It is like they always conservative and Democrat. They're not gonna ask us. Well, how do we do it in your world then? Well, because you guys live in the same fucking
it proves.
world.
Here's a great point. It proves that Republicans and Democrats, conservatives and liberals, all rely on the state. That's why they're not asking that question. They are relying on this monopoly of force, because that's what it is. The government is a monopoly. They have a monopoly on force over a territory, whatever territory that state government is about, and they know that they have that as their bully system. So, like, if they don't get you through just the law on a surface, right? Like, oh, the law says this. Well, then they're going to use force. So they have that monopoly on force that they can use and exercise to put you in line.
You don't
so
obey.
that's why they're not getting those arguments, because they both have the same answer.
Yeah. They
So
do.
that's why we always say they're on the same fucking team.
Because they're like, when it comes down to it, is if you do not obey my law that I've cast for you, then I will use the police or the law enforcement to come take you and put you in a cage. So that was half the fucking problem I had with the argument that I got into with my buddy last week, right?
That you talked about last week.
Yeah. When it all comes down to it, you're either against forcing your will on people and stealing their money, or you're not. It's like you either are or you aren't. There's no like, oh, but if we do it this way, it's ethical. No, it's all unethical.
Yeah, how is it ethical if you're fucking pointing a gun at someone to make them do something?
I don't think that people realize.
They don't realize it.
How.
Well, tell your story real quick about what you said about, well, the government will just do it before you became a libertarian. That the government's money. Just a quick version of that.
What do you mean?
When you were like, oh, well, we just do that with the government's money.
Oh,
the way you used to look at it.
Yeah, okay,
Just
so
quick,
the way
analogy.
I used to look at it was like the government has this money, right? And they're getting it through taxes. So they have a budget, and if like, okay, say we want healthcare. Well, what they should do is just take a portion of the money that they already have, and that should then go towards healthcare. But as you look deeper into it, you realize the government's a business, and a business is not into making less money. So if you want anything, that money that they're already getting through taxation, and you want to add a larger budget or a different budget on top of that, they have to increase the taxation, which increases the force, which increases fucking... It's always going to be taken from you, and they're never going to use the existing
And you didn't
amount
even
of
look
money.
at it before. The other part I was going to get at with what you were saying, because you said this before, but you didn't even look at it like it was force. You didn't understand that originally.
No.
You just thought it was the government's money.
Right. Like, well, it's almost like when the statists will say, like, it's the price we pay to live in a civilized society, that whole cop-out.
That nonsense, yeah.
So it's
but
like,
that's how you saw it before. That's all I was trying to do.
like, here's the thing is like, I had heard...
Jamie doesn't think that now, people.
Right. I had heard the phrase taxation is theft, and I always thought that was some fucking punk rock shit, but then, like, when you really fucking look down to it, how is it not? If I don't pay my taxes, then I can't work for an employer. I can't live anywhere. I can't buy products. Like, you can't just walk into a store and be like, I'm not paying sales tax on this. Well, guess what?
Yep.
Go fucking hungry. Like, that's literally, they are forcing you to buy. I mean, okay, food is not always taxed, but go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Toilet paper, then. You need that, don't you? Unless you're in San Francisco.
Nice way to bring that in.
Jesus Christ.
All right, well, that's cool. I just wanted to, and then was there anything else about getting back to that libertarian thing, like how you kind of came around? Was there anything else that kind of forced you into it, or like not forced you into it, but like you bought into or you thought was like kind of cool? Or
I can't tell you like the pivotal moment where it started making sense, but a lot of it had to do with talking. A lot of it had to do with me and you fucking talking over
we had
beers
a lot
at a
of
fucking bar.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
we had a lot
up.
of different like conversations about
But
it.
I was also like,
we started with guns. Really, is where we started.
Yeah.
And then we went into the taxation.
I never really, because I try not to really believe into like the whole Republican and Democrat thing. Like, I was already, I guess you can call me an independent or whatever. I was really just open to having my own ideas and like sort of cherry picking from each one what I wanted. And then, when you ask somebody like, what do you believe in? Like, do you believe that it is wrong to steal something from somebody? Okay, yes, I do. So how is taxing someone by taking money out of their paycheck that they cannot opt out of? You cannot opt out of any of the IRS. You can't opt out of Medicare. You can't opt out of any of the taxes that come out of your fucking paycheck unless it's something like a 401k or a stock option or healthcare benefits. You can't opt out of those, although it's illegal if you opt out of the fucking healthcare. Like, there's all these things where you can't opt out of them. If you cannot unsubscribe from a service and that service is taking money from you, that sounds like they're stealing from you, doesn't it?
Yep.
I mean, it's a real simple, like, it seems...
it's all backed by laws, which is the state.
Exactly.
The government.
So it may seem far-fetched on the surface, but let's face it, if you made it to episode fucking 34, you're probably not disagreeing with us at this point. You know what I mean?
Or if you're new, welcome.
Yeah. We welcome.
Hi.
Welcome you.
That's cool. I had the whole thing with the firearms. That's kind of what got me. I've mentioned it before, and I have that interview on this like Sideshow 2 or 3 or whatever. When Chris interviewed me and I talked a little bit about it. Yeah. So there's I have some of that on there, but like I always had after I kind of had the gun thing kind of just show me what's up, and the Patriot Act was kind of the pushing point to become a libertarian. And then later on when the Bundy Ranch happened, I kind of got more into looking into different things, and that's when I kind of went AnCap, and that's where my journey there started. But I always noticed, like, before that and during that whole time when I was still transitioning, I still always had the same kind of concept where government is force, taxation is theft, and leave me alone voluntary, and that whole thing. And I'd always have people at the bar that we'd always hang out with. Jamie hangs out there. A bunch of people hang out there, and they would always come up to me when they start getting, you'd have the right wing, the left wing, and then the independents, and they're all arguing. Sometimes the independents take either or side, right? And they'd always come up to me, and you'd have the right wing, the independents, and the left wing all arguing. And then they go, Johnny, come here. And I'd be like, yo, what's up? Like, I'd be like talking to someone else or doing something completely
Minding
different.
your own fucking
They
business.
would call me over to wherever they were at, and they go, okay, answer this question because we're all saying this. We want to know what you think. And then whatever it was, they'd have the right wing answer, the left wing, and then, like I said, the independent would side with one or the other, whoever it was, the independent people. And then they'd ask me, and I go, well, no, none of it. I don't agree with either of those scenarios. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm all, because what you're saying means you want government to force something, and what you're saying is that you want government to force something, and either way, I can't get on board with that. You guys are basically just saying that you want to control people. And they were like, but what? And then it was always going into but what about blah, blah, blah. And then they bring in all the things that we talked about last week. But what about this? Or how do we do this? Or what? And it's like you have to go into that whole thing. That's why I said, apparently I got to answer every goddamn fucking question the statists have, right? So that was why I kind of was triggered. And another reason why I was triggered on the last show is I know who the fuck we were talking about. So I don't normally get that way when it's like a new person talking to me or something like that. But I got extra triggered because I know who this motherfucker is, and he says the same shit, and he never wants to listen, ever, to me at least.
It's
like I know you had to make up your little socialist utopia world for him to get on board with some of those things, and it was kind of cool because you did get him to admit that taxation is theft or force.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I mean, at least you got him to admit it. Sometimes I do play some of those games just to get people to admit things.
But
it sucks that we have to do that at all.
Yeah. Like baby steps though.
Yeah, but
baby
we should have to backtrack and go down to the whole core of it, right? It's wrong to steal. It's wrong to rape. It's wrong to initiate force.
But in that conversation, he was
thought it was okay.
straight up saying it was not wrong to steal. Like and I got him. Basically, I laid it out like that. I said so we have to agree on this, that I think that it is wrong to steal from people, and you don't.
Right.
And I reluctantly got him to admit that,
those are one of those conversations that's when you need to get into who we were talking about earlier, when you have to get really deep into the philosophy of what is theft and what you are your own property and you have property rights and whatnot, right? That's where you have to dive into that and actually get really philosophical and develop that part of the argument first with that person if he really wants to be honest with it. And then you branch out to now the other stuff.
Honestly,
what I mean?
if I'm having...
But it's a waste of time with this guy.
Exactly.
I would do that. I would totally have that conversation with someone.
If I'm having that conversation with somebody, it's never been that fucking difficult to get them to understand what I was talking about. Shout out to Justin if he ever decides to watch one of these episodes. We were just talking to him about this the other day.
Yeah. It was a good conversation we had.
Yeah, and this dude, one of my greatest friends, I don't know why I wasn't expecting him to be as open-minded as he was, but I don't know,
because you're used to all the shit we've been dealing with lately.
Maybe that's what it is, but I mean, but I know this guy. You know what I mean? I have no reason to expect that he would have acted any different than the way he did. He was just completely open-minded, and I could tell he wasn't necessarily agreeing with everything that we said, but he was like, "All right, I'll listen to you."
But
guys.
He was listening.
Yeah, he was listening,
and he did agree with some stuff.
Well, that's a start, because I know some people that just won't even. They'll be
they shut it down.
What do you have to say? No, I don't want to fucking listen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's most people that are what it is usually the ones that are really hardcore right or left because they're already locked into their voting and they got to back up their guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're already I don't want to be wrong, right? That's how I think that's how most of them are, at least the ones I've dealt with.
But I feel like right now in this day and age with this political culture that we have, where we have this crazy right wing guy that is president, I feel like it might actually be easier for people.
Go ahead, continue. Sorry,
I think it might be easier for leftists to kind of understand where we're coming from.
At this point, yes.
We're your whole system allowed this bullshit to happen.
And what's funny, what I was going to interrupt, I did interrupt for a second, but I stopped and I waited. Trump is not a conservative. He matches more up with the Democrat Party, mostly. So
he's even said it on film, if I were to run as president, it would be as a Republican because they're stupid.
Yep.
He's come out and said that, and no, he hasn't. Yes, he has.
Yeah. It was from 1987 or some shit that he said that. It was fucking hella days ago. Come on, man. You can't even fucking get stupid.
Yeah. So anyways, he's a fucking socialist. Oh, we're never going to be a socialist
A
country.
New York
We
Democrat.
are a fucking socialist country.
Yes,
that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
that
wrong
was hilarious.
again, bucko.
And how many people cheered? How many people?
Oh, yeah, everyone cheered
my
there.
God,
I mean,
Trump.
they don't understand what the fuck they're even talking about.
Tread harder,
But you see what I'm
Daddy.
saying, though? I feel because I feel like Democrats probably haven't been this upset with a president elect
In a while.
in a long while, right? George Bush, there was a lot of outcry, whatever, I get it, but Trump is just fuck, dude, come on. I'm upset about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well.
Either way,
I mean, never has there been such. Remember when he got Trump wins, and there were so many. Oh my god! And
Triggered people.
Yeah.
they were crying. I'd never seen.
Well, okay, so how much of that was
over-exaggerated,
whatever.
There was definitely people, we've seen the video, but that's a handful. If you actually type in social justice warrior or something like that, there's 5 people's pictures that always pop up.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a bunch of people.
And they're already all memes, so it is what it is.
But basically all they're doing is they're crying like a bunch of little fucking bitches, the ones that were doing it, that the state isn't turning out the way they want the state to turn out.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's fucking crazy.
That's why I'm saying maybe now it's easier than ever for them to
Exactly.
sort of convert, because
And
it's look what your system that you supported allowed this bullshit to happen. You finally didn't get your fucking way. Now it's not now you look at it from our perspective, you're going to get your way, but it's look at it from our perspective and look at it adjust your philosophy, adjust what you believe in, because you're never going to be happy trying to fight for red or blue. But if you can try and fucking find somewhere in the middle that makes
the
you happy,
yellow pill,
the fucking yellow pill, dude.
Yes.
It is what it is,
could
man.
be pea flavored or lemonade. We don't know yet.
Because
are
there's
not
always
sure.
going to be that, between the left and the right, there's always going to be that tug of war. And it's never going to, you're going to be in the middle, dude. And guess what? You are the tug of war, dude. You're right here, and you're being.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're gonna be
The
split down
only
the middle.
way to win is to get rid of fucking both of them.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's like Aliens versus Predator. They said whoever wins, we lose. So the best thing to do is just fucking kill both of them, and you fucking live.
Yeah, just step outside of the two-party system, and then all of a sudden you'll start seeing more, right? Because once you're in the independent realm and the libertarian realm, it's kind of like ish. You kind of start seeing things for what they really are. But when you're like stuck in that two-party system, you just get you get stuck in that, like what Aaron was saying, the tug of war. And if you want to learn more about the political tug of war, look up jerk off. Yeah.
lemonparty.org.
Sure. There you go.
So yeah, don't go there.
Science.
Don't go there.
Please. Don't.
Yeah. So the way I look at it is like if you look at it from more of a libertarian perspective, you are pro system that is more closely resemblant to that our founding fathers originally had. So like you're bringing like government, if you have to have any at all, back to the most minimalist stage, and then we can talk about society and talk about how we do from there. But we have to start there, and until we get there, we can't even really have those conversations. And it never meant without rules. It just means without rulers. And so
anarchy you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not a far leap from libertarian to AnCap, in my opinion.
I don't think so either. No, that's like I was saying. It's like you got the rock and roll guy that's the fucking libertarian, and then the AnCap is the punk rock.
Yeah,
version.
well, that's why I think they work well together. Is because libertarian, like, I mean,
we have the core same beliefs. The only difference is the libertarians. We're all under the same banner. So AnCaps are still under the banner of like libertarian. Is the way I understand it to be. At least that's the way I always looked at it. But basically, the AnCap is just the one next step where it's pure. Like the philosophy is pure, because you can't say don't boss me, don't control me, but you want this minimal government. So that's where the libertarians will stand. And I understand where they're coming from. I was that for a while, so I mean I understand that. I just used my whole philosophy to go. It's always wrong to steal. It's always wrong to control people. It's always wrong to do all these things. So how can I say, oh, it's okay to have a little bit of poison in my food?
Exactly, and
So
that's why
I just throw the food out if it's got poison in it. So that's where I came.
I consider the libertarians to be sort of, it's sort of like minarchist. And I mean, if that's what you want to call me, that's fine. But I do think that I lean towards the anarcho-capitalist because I do believe that like there should be nothing, and then we sort of move back from there. We sort of add rules as we see fit, right?
Yeah, and if you're in a private, different, communities and stuff, they're all going to have different rules.
Exactly. I mean, like, dude, the thing is, everyone's like, oh, you got to have laws, otherwise people just kill people. Yeah, you know what? Like, nobody that wants this type of society has that fucking mindset.
Right?
Maybe you need to adjust your incentives.
Yeah, that's just, and if you think everyone's bad, it's like, we'll start teaching people the right way. That's what we're doing here.
That's what we're trying to fucking do.
Start teaching people principles. Like, that's what we're doing. So
literally, it's everyone always comes down to that. Well, what if there's always going to be bad people? So then why do you want other people to control you?
Well, that's what we were saying on the last one, too. If everyone's bad or a majority of people are bad, well, who makes up government? People. And if you're saying that majority of people are bad, well, then you're saying that now I want a big branch of people, or big group of people that are bad to control me. Like, that doesn't, like, how does that even make sense? It's not rational at all. It's like, doesn't make any kind of sense.
Yeah, damn it.
Statist.
Well, okay, so let's go a little out of order here. Speaking of anarchists, so this is a really strange article. I found this article that said Tim Allen. Well, I didn't find it. Aaron found
this one, yeah.
It says that Tim Allen refers to himself as an anarchist instead of a Republican, or more so an anarchist.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll pull up the title here. So the title is misleading. I went through here and I was like,
imagine that.
Yeah, right.
That hasn't happened today at all.
At all, not even once. So I wanted to read this article because I'm like, that's fucking cool. I really like Tim Allen just as like he's he's a childhood fucking icon for me with Home Improvement, all that shit. Yeah, exactly. I like him. I like his show. It's a cool show. It is a very like right winger type of show, but I mean it's kind of funny to like hear them like kind of.
What's the name of the show?
Last Man Standing.
Oh, okay, the new one. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Pretty fucking awesome to hear him like harp on people the way he does in there sometimes. Anyway, what it was that he in this article you can read it if you want to, but it says that he said that he considers himself more of an anarchist than a Republican, and it's because he doesn't like the idea of paying taxes and then not having them go towards what we pay people to use the taxes for. So it kind of is. He's kind of saying he doesn't like taxes.
He's on the border. He's tipping towards
But he's still in this article with what we are given. He is still agreeing, or he is still basically voluntarily paying taxes. He still thinks that taxes are there.
Oh, like the conversation you had last week at the bar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He thinks that they're there for our better good, and that what should happen with that tax money is it should go towards the things that we pay politicians to use our tax money for. So he agrees there should be taxes. He just thinks they should be used in a way that benefits us as people. So he's not necessarily an anarchist, in my opinion.
No.
He would be like a minarchist, I would say. Like you said earlier, he just doesn't know his fucking terms.
Flirting. It sounds like he's flirting with libertarianism, basically.
Yeah, flirting. He's getting there. Once he realizes that taxation is fucking forced, then he won't want to have anything to do with it. But with Republican whatever. Yeah, then the last article, they kind of just tear him down. They kind of make fun, because like, he says that he just like to kind of stand back and watch.
At the end of the article, you mean?
Yeah, at the end of the article. Sorry. He likes to kind of stand back and watch the theater of it, they said, of people picking on Trump and Trump picking on people, and the whole shit show that is. And
that's what when I was saying that earlier too, is like that's kind of what comedians' nature is, right? Like
to talk shit about it.
They kind of like that whole where they observe what people are doing.
Well,
they like sitting back and watching the show happen
because that's how you make material.
Right.
If you're an observational comic, like that's what you do. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's what he does. I've never seen him do stand up or anything.
Yeah, he's done stand up before.
But I would listen to it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they kind of tear him down because he's a rich white man who like doesn't have to worry about his kids being taken away or being locked up for no reason or being deported. And like I get it, but like we didn't have to go all fucking SJW on the article.
Oh yeah, you do. They
did. They had to make a point about it.
Just like Jesus, like could you just be like, oh, cool, he's an anarchist, and then we could talk about why he's wrong for saying that, maybe. But like they tear him down.
He was meaning it more just in the sense of he doesn't like he wants chaos, kind of, right? I mean that's kind of
to me it seemed like he's
using it in a different definition.
He almost
than we do.
said, he almost said, I don't like government because when I pay the government, they don't fix what I paid them to fix.
He's not coming to the philosophical conclusions like we are, where it's like it's wrong to steal from people, it's wrong to initiate force, and on and on.
Well,
and on,
I mean, and this can go kind of a bunch of different ways too, because if he's paying taxes, and I mean he does have enough money.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
It's almost voluntary at his point because it's really not affecting him. So, like it affects us, where they take money out of our paycheck and it's like a substantial amount.
Like Wesley Snipes.
Well, he was a
totally,
tax evasion. That's something different.
Yeah, he was a hero.
My hero.
I just mean that like he is. I mean, say we assume he's voluntarily paying taxes. He's upset that the taxes don't go.
I don't get what you mean by that though. That was the only part. I
so like I mean,
I know you have an angle, but
he gets a paycheck,
right?
Right. Taxes get taken out.
Yes.
He's cool with it.
Sure.
He's voluntarily paying that.
Yeah.
He's cool with. He's made peace with that. That's what gets taken out. Fine. Doesn't have a problem with it. But he does have a problem with the things not being fixed that that he wants to be fixed are not getting fixed. So it's not that he doesn't want taxes. He does have that little bit of like minarchist or collectivism even in it because he's like willing to pay into the greater good kind of thing.
He just used ultimately what this is he used a total wrong term.
Exactly.
That's I think what it narrows down to.
It is. And to put that in the title of the argument when that's the whole thing was that he used the wrong word.
It's clickbait.
It's all it is.
And it worked because we fucking got on that shit.
Yes, and here it is. Fucking 10-minute rant.
Because literally, I mean, he's mad.
So basically, what we're saying is this is a waste of time.
I gave the government money to fix that pothole on 53rd, and they never fixed it.
You're right. That's exactly what he's saying. Statist arguing about statism.
Straight up.
Yeah. Oh, and I'll bring up a little quick point. We have a little meme up on the old social media, and it was about flat tax equals flat Earth.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing. It's like taxation is all wrong. Like it's nothing good about it. So it's the same. Like the answer is a flat tax. Because I'll hear conservatives. I don't know. You probably heard this too a lot with the conservatives. Oh, we should just go to a flat tax. Like why? It's still the same thing. You could paint a fucking pig.
We're all just gonna pay the same amount of money, right?
Yeah,
guys?
you put lipstick on. What is it? You could put a fucking lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig, right?
I can't believe you've done this.
It's just like if you already have like taxation, right, the way it exists now, and then you change it to flat tax. Okay, well maybe the only benefit to it would be less paperwork because it's just a flat fucking tax. Like, that would make sense. Like, I mean, I get that part of it, especially from a statist perspective. But from my perspective, I'm saying that, like, the taxation the way it exists now or a flat tax, what the fuck's the difference? They're still pointing a fucking gun at your goddamn head. Like that, you know what I mean? That's kind of what I was trying to say. But, like, that, it's stupid. Like, I've even heard libertarians say that shit. Like, flat tax is not the fucking answer, people. No taxation is the fucking answer. Open up the doors and let free market go. Like, that's the answer.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why we put the whole flat earth, because
remove legislation.
People think flat earth is stupid as fuck, right? Like, everyone here pretty much agrees with that, right? I mean, so it's like,
we all know it's all about the donut earth anyway.
I thought it was pear-shaped from Neil Diamond.
Yeah. So we all so if the flat earthers are so stupid, so are the flat taxers. It's fucking stupid. It's the same shit,
That's a pretty
bro.
good one.
Yeah. So that's why I made that little meme for you guys.
I like it.
Just check it out on the
Fucking
Facebook
sweet.
and the Instagram.
So
all right.
Went a little out of order here.
That's all right.
I just want to talk about. So we kind of had a tragedy sort of happen here in
fire.
tragedy to some people. We had a cathedral in France burned down, the Notre Dame Cathedral. Move it over here to the article.
Yeah.
You guys, it's been all over the news. This is probably something you've already heard. But like I watched this little video up here and it was actually kind of sad. You see like the main spire on the top of it like fall down and shit. It's kind of depressing because like that was like a
historical landmark.
Landmark, yeah. It's very recognizable. You know, it's just one of those things. And in the video here, they're trying to explain like how in France it was like a symbol of freedom. It was a symbol of like hope. All this stuff. So they were pretty upset about it. To me, it's a fucking church. Like, I don't care, but I mean,
right. The historical part, and it's like human history and whatnot. That part, it's sad. It's not. No one likes to see someone's property burn fucking down.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But like, don't you feel like it's a little bit blown out of proportion on the media? A little bit. Like, I don't know. Everyone on social media I'm looking at is just like fucking Quasimodo fucking pictures, and I don't know. I think people need to chill out about that shit a little bit.
I just now got a meme that I saw earlier because it was.
Oh, you didn't get what it was. Now
no,
you just understand
yep.
it. Yeah. The Hunchback is. Yeah,
it was a picture. It was a picture of like the old school movie, The Hunchback, and it just said, have a party that'll be lit. They said. Yeah.
Oh shit!
I didn't get it.
Yeah,
right now
it's funny as fuck.
Yeah. The one I seen was the Disney character Quasimodo.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
I have information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton.
That one is so great too. I saw that one too. So I'm, in my opinion, it's horrible, right? It's bad. Like it's a landmark, historical landmark. It's like part of human history, whatever. I mean, no one wants to see that thing burned down. I just think that all y'all that are like fucking like so up in arms about this whole thing getting on fire, and it is a tragedy. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm saying is like you don't care that the state's fucking pointing a gun at you. Like, let's put some things in perspective. You know what I mean?
Fucking prioritize people.
Yeah, come on, man. Taxation is theft, people.
We have this thing here, too. This is kind of a little bit of a conspiracy theory behind that. Yeah.
Tinfoil hat time.
Yeah. So apparently before it caught fire, 4 days, 16 statues removed from the top. So, coincidence? Maybe. We don't know.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Wah, wah. Like fucking tinfoil hat.
It's the man.
I think the Illuminati have all those statues hidden in their basement or
They're
something.
actually bunkers like
the
Da
gold
Vinci
statues. Are
the
just
Da Vinci
painted.
Code.
Right? Yeah, I mean, with that whole story, it's like, well, a lot of times when buildings go under construction and they remove stuff like that, they have tools and shit out, and it might have probably it's probably what caught the fire. It's probably construction.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I did not see anything in that article that said what caused it, so I think the jury's still out on that.
Yeah.
But it's weird because other people, people have been posting, at least on Facebook, like, hey, there have been like this many more churches that were smeared with feces and lit on fire.
Okay, so we're talking about fucking all the entire area is like infested with all the Muslim refugees from those countries.
Yes.
So they're obviously against Christianity. So that could be a strong possibility that who started the fire, right? So there is that, but no one knows, like as of right now when we're doing this. But yeah, it could be. Who knows? I don't know. I just think it's a tragedy. I'm not saying it's not a tragedy. It totally sucks. But at the same time, like, yeah, I mean, you're free to post whatever the fuck you want. But it's like, you see this. You know what it is that the people that it doesn't bother me when I see people that actually post things about what's really going on in their news feed, and then they actually post something about this. I don't care. It's all the other people that just post like stupid, nothing to do with anything. They're not trying to change anything. They're just content in their little status bubble, and then they all of a sudden when something stupid like this happens, they like blow it out of proportion. And it's like all over. They're the ones, all of them, that have like 20 things about it. Where like someone else that's actually paying
Change
attention.
their profile picture
right.
to a French flag.
Oh
that
God,
shit.
bro!
Like we've seen that in the Nipsey Hussle thing, right?
Everything, dude. They do that with every fucking thing.
Like literally, Nipsey Hussle is like, I've never heard of anybody name Nipsey Hussle's song that all of a sudden it's like Nipsey Hussle.
All of a sudden, everyone knows.
Nipsey Hussle, Nipsey Hussle, Nipsey Hussle.
You're kind of right, dude. It's like the people that seem to have no cause. Like I post about all kinds of shit on Facebook, all right, and it has nothing to do.
And this could be even Republicans, right? The Republicans will be posting all their stuff, or the liberals will be posting all their stuff, right? But they'll cover this, they'll put it in there, but they're not blowing it out of proportion. But it's all the people that are literally only posting stuff about whatever. It could be just like video games, anime. It could be. And I'm not picking on those things by no means.
Sports, nothing but sports.
Or sports.
There's
exactly.
Dinner.
Just dinner pictures or cats or whatever. It's like they're the ones that are blowing this shit up on social media, like on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm talking like 20 fucking things. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm not, and like I said, this is horrible. I mean, it's not.
Well, for them, it's a whole.
It's worth mentioning. It's just not worth blowing out of proportion.
That's a good observation.
Well, for them, it's a whole talking point. It's like, oh my God, look at my video. Oh, look at what I posted.
But it really affected me because I'm so concerned.
You know what's fun, dude?
Yeah,
I actually had an old high school buddy, or an old high school friend that went and he killed somebody in a laundromat years ago. Like 10 years ago, he killed somebody, like murdered somebody.
It's a morbid story.
Yes.
No, really.
He escalated quickly.
No, really. And so one of our old, a mutual friend that we went to high school with, she was like, she made it all about her. Oh my God, if I would have just been there for him. And it's like,
oh God.
Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck does that have anything to do with him and his struggle when you're making, so the same thing is like.
So you're trying to say how people try to make it personal, like about them, even though it's,
Yes.
I don't know about in this situation, but I definitely agree with that. No, like people do that all the time.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, oh my God,
well, because they always have those, like when you can, like you were saying, you can change your flag out and your, whatever the cause is for whatever's happening, and Facebook immediately jumps on it and gives you this app that you can change your picture profile, like support whatever or the fallen or whatever it is, whatever the situation is. Yeah,
pray for France.
It's just like no, but it really means a lot to. Side note: this pisses me off more than fucking anything. I really love the ocean. Well, I do too. I fucking love the ocean. No, I really love the ocean. Have you guys ever ran into any? I've ran into like 3 different. Just so happens to be girls, but 3 different ones that literally will be like, no, but I really like the ocean. You're like, okay, I do too. I love it. I know to stay the fuck out of it, but I love the ocean. I like fish. I like all that stuff. Like everything's cool about that.
How do they like it more than you?
Have you ever run any? It doesn't have to be that exact example, but
no,
like no.
You don't understand. I fucking.
Or like, okay, it could be like a sport or something too. No, but I really like basketball or baseball.
Everybody likes basketball more than me, so I'm not surprised.
Same.
I stopped that conversation right there. I'm like, good, more than me.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, cool.
Neato.
Yeah, well, we hate sports ball. So.
Yeah, I just don't give a
But
fuck.
you know what I mean? Like, have you ever had anyone do that to you that were like, no, but I really...
I
like,
mean,
if you're talking about a game or a video game system or a car or anything, I've had people be like, no, but I love it. It's like, why do you have to one-up everyone? So my point is it's like that same kind of personality are the same idiots posting that shit on their profile. They're always like, no, but
I can see that.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know. I feel like
but me, I trump you. I'm bigger than you.
I feel like I have the opposite experience when it comes to a lot of stuff. Like if someone is more into cars than me or something, like they'll be like, oh yeah, like we'll be having a conversation and we're going back and forth about it, and then like they'll kind of casually throw in there like they didn't even mean to say it. They're like, oh yeah, I mean I've been working on that specific model car for like 15 years, and in my experience I'm like, wait, so this whole fucking time you've been, like so much more than me, but you've been entertaining my bullshit?
You have a different angle on it. Well, you got nicer people you hang out with, apparently.
That's what I'm saying. Is like that's kind of funny that yours are like they're like assholes about
it.
Oh
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily 100% being an asshole, but I mean ultimately yeah. But I don't think that's their intention. Their intention is just like, no, I like it so much more than anyone else. Like center of attention shit,
Well,
which
you're
is my
just
point.
a nice guy, Jamie. You're like
right?
a really nice guy.
But
about
which
it,
is my
clearly.
point about social media, that I feel like it's the same mindset, is that, you know, it's like, no, it means so much more to me.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's weird. It's weird to I don't want to really get it, but I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's fucking weird. But I know, like, I honestly can't say I've met anyone like that in my lifetime that I can think off the top
It's
of my
gonna
head.
happen, and you're gonna be like, "Fucking Johnny, God damn
Probably.
it!"
I hope it does.
hope
That way
it
I can
does.
just be like, good for you.
It's funny though,
I
because
don't-
3 times it's been the ocean, literally.
That's so fucking weird.
Yeah, and one was even going to be a marine biologist, so that was one of her things. I'm all, yeah, I love the ocean too. Yeah, but I'm gonna be a marine biologist, so I love the ocean more. And I'm like, when did this come a competition? I was just saying I love the ocean. Like, I don't care. Sure, you do.
Great.
Sure. Good. Have at
Neato.
it. I hate government, so there. I
Oh,
hate
dude.
government more than you. So, wait. Yeah, I should have done that.
Shit, I knew a guy like that, and he was like, I'm a fucking hardcore Raider fan. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm a Raider fan too. No, you don't fucking stand.
Oh, I've heard it. Now that you say that, I've heard
And I'm like,
Raider
dude,
fans
that's
argue
fine.
this.
Dude, all right, granted,
Shout out to Martine, shout out to Tommy, and shout out to Gabe, because you guys all do that shit.
but it's just like, I'm more of a fan because I have this jersey or I have this hat or I go to more games, and it's like, dude, are you fucking serious? Dude, I don't give a fuck what you do.
Oh, God damn it. It's
Get
hilarious.
on with yourself.
Tribalism.
Yes, tribalism.
All right. We got totally derailed on
Yeah.
all this.
Next.
All righty. So what do we got here? We got the gun range thing we're going to go into.
Yeah. Yeah, so, Aaron, this is one that you posted up here, I
That's a good
believe.
point, though.
So apparently gun grabbers are going after the places that gun lovers like to go, like the shooting ranges. So in May, what they're doing is they're trying to, edge out the gun ranges by building houses or whatever next to them, and then I think complaining
Zoning.
about the noise. Yeah, zoning laws. So what they're trying to do is sit there and like the person that that goes and moves moves by a baseball field, and then they come outside to see their car window broken or whatever, and it's like, oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah, or a golf course.
Yeah, and it's like, but you knew the risk when you fucking moved over here by moving to this place that could damage your property.
Yeah, but they're doing the opposite. They're actually building it after the fact.
Yeah, they're building it after.
So there's no warning.
Yeah, and so they're trying to do it that way. So this Republican, what's his name? Fucking Patrick Corey decides, you know what? That's not right. So he proposes this bill that says, hey, you know what? If you move to this property after the fact that this gun range is already here, then guess what? The gun range stays. And the governor actually fucking signs off on it, which I thought was pretty cool, because he actually sees, like, dude, you can't sit up there and, I mean, it's a whole thing of, like, I was here first. Then how?
Yeah, they're kind of trying to honor it. Yeah, well, I mean, for me, it's a fucking government bullshit, and it's still government regulations and all that, which is totally bullshit. They shouldn't have to even legislate something like that. But if they have already been there and they have, like, their own, like, it's their property, right? Then it's like, well, you can build somewhere else. You don't need to build right next to it.
Yeah.
So, but having government get involved, I just automatically get, like, triggered. Like, no.
Yeah, but I just thought it was weird how
even if it's
people
something
think,
you like, right?
Yeah, but I mean, people who think that, well, if I could just do this or we could do this, then we could just get this out. If we just do these little shady,
well, that's what they do.
things.
They're playing politics with the whole situation. That's what That's what the right and left always do.
Mm-hmm.
And
how do you not notice your house is next to a fucking gun range?
Right?
Yeah. Well, this one was that they have gun ranges that already exist,
Right.
and then the liberals are trying to get
Build
people
houses.
to build shit around.
Yeah,
them,
no, I
right?
get it.
Yeah.
I get why. But it's like how did that open house go? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you walk in and you're like, is that gunfire that I mean, they just,
we're gonna,
you know what? We're
you gotta
only
come
gonna,
after 2. You got to come after 2 on Sundays.
We're only going to have open house between the hours of 4 and 9 a.m. So, like, you're like, what are you out of your fucking
Well,
mind?
and if you're in the market, you got to look at what, like, to buy a home. You got to look at what's around you. You know what I mean? You got to look at what your schools are. You got to look at what businesses around you. Is there an airport there? Is there a gun range? You got to figure out all that kind of
Is
stuff.
it on a highway? Like, that's
Right.
another big one. Like,
Oh,
are
yeah.
you fucking, like, I just don't see how they thought that was going to fly. Like, the people were just going to move in, and on the first day, they set all the boxes in their house, and that first fucking shot goes off when the thing opens up,
Right.
and they're like, oh, they got us. Like,
Yeah.
what,
Yeah. That wasn't a party popper. The bill coming out because the guns have become so popular in the United States, they're putting a bill out for government, like I guess it's state, maybe they're doing with what is it called, grants, but it's definitely the federal government doing this, but they're trying to expand and make more gun ranges. Well, so as a gun lover, I think that's cool, but at the same time, it's like, no, they're taking your taxation dollars that they steal from you, and now they're gonna fucking give you a gun range. Like, it's still wrong. It's still wrong.
Exactly.
Still, you're stealing someone's money and putting up a fucking gun range. So anything that has to do with government, I think, is immoral.
See, because you just said that. You're like, even if it's something that you like, you have to take your emotion out of it and realize that it is immoral. So
and we love, yeah, fuck yeah, there should be tons of gun ranges. I'm totally down with that. But, like, fucking A, man, like, let's have some private ones. Like, why do we need to fucking have the state do it, and why do we have to steal people's money to build one?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
even though I like both those ideas, both stories, it's still statism. So
fucking bullshit.
And I'm a big gun guy, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah, it would be nice to have more gun ranges, but we don't want the government to fucking decide like how to fucking implement that.
But you got to be fair. I mean, you can't sit there and say, well, I don't like it, so I'm against it, and well, I like it, so I got to go with it. I mean, you got to fucking be fair across the board, no?
You mean like what I kind of what I was just saying? Yeah. I get you now. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you're gonna say like you're on your this is your morals, right? You're gonna stay on your fucking morals, and then what you're gonna do is you stay consistent with them, right? And then that's basically what we just did right there.
Yes.
Like we just said, like we all love guns. You've heard, if you guys have watched the show a bunch, you understand we love guns, but yet I'm against the government building gun ranges.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we're against how they got their fucking budget.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Easy
There's plenty
shit.
of. I mean, I've been to tons of ranges, and I'm telling you, most of them are private anyway. So I don't even understand what the fucking problem is. If the market really needs that much, then why can't the market just do that?
The question is always, do we need more legislation for? And the answer is always no.
No. Yeah.
Fucking no.
I was like, no.
we don't.
Yeah.
Like,
All right.
You can just shut that off real quick right there.
All right. Are we done?
That's it.
Oh,
man.
okay.
That's all we had.
I was like, are we done?
That's all we had.
All right. So check us out on social media. Like and subscribe. Share our shit. Comment on our shit.
Check us out on that Instagram. It's been cracking. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook all launching the same things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little redundant if you got all of us on your phone or what have you. So pick one. Probably Instagram, right? That's what all the kids are using these days.
Yeah, that's what the kids are using. Facebook still has the most stuff on there, ultimately.
Yes, it does.
But Instagram's catching.
So what Twitter would we be on? Would we be on the black Twitter or the white Twitter?
We're on the rainbow Twitter, bro.
Yeah, they have an Oreo Twitter? I don't know, man.
Yeah, right?
How about just regular fucking Twitter?
And then YouTube, our biggest place where we launch all our videos. We have all our videos on there. And like and subscribe and hit that bell notification on the bottom corner there, and you'll get all the updates whenever we come out with stuff. Usually it's on average 2 to 4 videos a week.
Yeah.
Ish. Sometimes just one.
If we're gonna average, I'd say 2 a week.
2 to 3, somewhere in there. So yeah, check it out. Sometimes 2 a day. And then nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out. And then if you guys have SoundCloud, we're on there as well as the podcast, this audio version.
Yep, there you go. That way
There
you
you
can
go.
download us onto your phone.
Yeah, and then check our merch out. And once again, here's I'll just do this one right there. So you guys got that right there.
Check that shit out.
Yeah. So
you got to drop Ian in there real quick.
Look at this shit.
I will.
Yeah.
What do you call it? And we're going to be doing that photo shoot this week. So that's like my big project for the weekend that we're going to be doing. We've been planning it out for a while.
That's going to be really cool. I don't think I'm going to get to be part of it this time.
Well, we're going to plan another one with you.
Eventually.
Get some drone footage in there and some cool shit.
Be pretty cool.
Some
man.
other little surprises. Cool. Alrighty.
We go and do the wrap up?
Yeah. Let's go for it.
Okay, so here's what I got for you guys this week. San Francisco is shitty, asshole. Come on. I mean, like, that's a knee slapper.
Yeah, that joke stunk.
Yeah, fuck the two-party system, asshole.
Yes.
All right, close the hatch, asshole, on your submarine. What the fuck, dude? Fuck all that thing up. Monopolies don't work in the free market, asshole. How many times do you have to fucking say it?
I mean, you could still play that game, in the free market, I think.
Yeah. I just don't want to.
Right, but why would you want to if it was a real free market?
Why would you want to?
We'd have too much fun doing cool shit,
Milton Bradley!
Right? All right.
Lego my egg roll, asshole.
Lego my egg roll.
Yeah, that guy's shit's funny as fuck.
Tim Allen isn't an anarchist, asshole.
No, misleading.
Tried.
Yeah.
Don't burn down churches, asshole. Like, come on.
That's rude.
That's somebody's
How
property.
rude.
Fucking rude. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. Once again, this is episode 34 of the Grim 86 Freedom First podcast, and we will see you guys next time.